What is going on? Today we are looking at YouTube channels and giving you feedback to help you be able to possibly see some things that you might be overlooking right now, or as a content creator, if you're a solo creator, you don't have other people that you can get feedback from. I've been on YouTube for over a decade. I've worked with a bunch of other content creators, so I know, how to identify things when I'm looking at YouTube channels that you can improve upon. Oh, I've got something coming through here. Let me mute that. And that should have been muted already, but I forgot that I turned that off, and we should be good to go now. So, with that said, yeah, we're looking at YouTube channels today. And basically how this whole process works is this is free, because this stream is kind of in a roundabout way brought to you by the app that I made for content creators called New Creator. This will help you write better titles, make better thumbnails, help you plan your content, and all kinds of other helpful things that you need as a content creator. But you can find out more about that by looking for New Creator in the App Store, or of course, you can also scan this QR code as well. If you happen to be watching on a TV or a computer or something like that, it'll take you to the website for it, and then you can check out more information about it from there. But it says New Creator, but anybody can use it. I use it every day. Great place to also store and organize your video ideas, that kind of thing. So it's a super helpful app. So make sure you check it out if you are not using it yet. So with that out of the way, a couple quick things I do want to mention. First off, Transcend Furniture Gallery, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. It says that your videos are helpful and a pleasure to watch, even the ones that you don't directly pertain to me personally. So thank you. Glad that you're enjoying the content. And she had mentioned also earlier that she's kind of having some struggles here when it comes to her YouTube channel, and that since like she had an amazing 21 to 2023, but kind of a downward trend since early 24. So a couple of things that I want to mention, and that was in regards to ad revenue. So we're going to talk about that really quick first. So a couple of things that I want to mention on your side is I did ask for people that are watching, in case the live stream chat isn't here, you're not looking at it. Basically, she mentioned that sponsorships help pick up some slack. Affiliates are mediocre, but full disclosure, I'm bad at them. I'm also monetized on Facebook. That took a turn around the same time as well. So a few things that are really important to make sure that you are keeping in mind when you have a channel and it is thriving is that, sometimes the way that you do things, and, I've been doing this for over a decade. So, I've went through this several times on my channel as well. But basically when you are doing things a certain way, as the platform evolves and viewers evolve and things like that, sometimes doing things the way that we used to do them, it just doesn't always work the same, and we have to start modifying things. So those things that we could modify can be as simple as, let's say before, you had a little bit of, like an intro to it, some personality pieces as your videos are starting, things like that. The thing to experiment with there now would be, okay, let me try just getting right into it. And you might be getting right into it. And in that particular case, then say, okay, well, if that's what I've been doing, let me try adding some personality pieces, see how people respond to that. But just kind of experimenting there at the beginning, because as I'm sure you already know, that if you can get people, more invested in the video when it first starts, then you're increasing your likelihood of people, watching your videos for a longer period of time. So a few things that I would do in your case specifically, Transcend Furniture Gallery, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and pull up your channel here, and let's get this party started. So a couple of things that I would recommend in your case specifically is I would go through in your, I saw here, because I pulled this up when you mentioned that to me, but it looks like you did have some, heavy videos that were driving the channel, but it hasn't really happened, with the exception of this one. Hasn't really happened in a bit for, those really big videos that can, really cause some momentum on a channel. So because of that, just to kind of understand what happened, step one would be to go into your advanced mode analytics, look at these videos and start looking to see, did they fall off? And then if so, going into your advanced mode of your analytics, and there's a line graph that goes along across the front, or that goes across the top of the screen. And with that line graph, just start looking. And again, this is in your traffic sources report. Just go look and see like where you took the hit in terms of, like, let's say, for example, this video right here. if this video was driving, a primary traffic driver to the channel, during that time, or maybe even this one, then in that particular case, if you look in there, you might see that, people have, that's tapered off and let's say suggested videos, or let's say it's tapered off in search, then that would at least give you an idea of where the loss has happened, so that you would be able to identify, like, okay, it's nothing necessarily that I'm doing with my content. It's just these videos happen to do well in these particular pages of YouTube. Therefore, those videos fell off. They're not bringing as much traffic to my channel anymore. So let me, just try to learn from these videos in terms of, how did I structure them? Meaning, how did I start the video? What did I, say and show when it was first starting? What did I do next? What did I do next? What did I do next? And so on. And just seeing if you can just identify a structure of some kind, especially with all of these videos here, because you have, a decent amount of videos over, 1 million. You got another one that's coming close here. But out of all these, say, like, what is it about these in terms of what I did? Do I see any similarities or patterns in terms of, how I was grabbing people's attention and getting them invested into the content, and then trying to repeat that? And I'm guessing you're probably doing that sort of thing, already, but that would be step one. Figure out where the traffic fell off at. And then from there, figure out, if there was something with the high performing videos that you have changed or that you're not doing anymore. And sometimes it can be that, just the thing itself just gets positioned, and this is where understanding the traffic sources is important. Like the video itself might get positioned next to another video or a handful of videos and suggested, and then when you see those lines in your traffic sources report at the top of the page, when you see those and you're getting all this traffic from suggested, then you see that start tapering off, then in that case, you could just have somebody that was making similar content that ended up just kind of taking some of that traffic or outranking you essentially next to some of those videos that were bringing a lot of attention to yours. That kind of thing. In addition to that, you also have, I can't remember exactly when they did it, but it's been, within the past, couple of years, where YouTube added the feature to where instead of, recommending a lot of your own videos next to your videos, they have it to where viewers can actually sort the suggested videos. And when those types of things happen, it can also impact videos as well, because now, maybe they're not showing a bunch of your videos next to your videos. So it's not necessarily your own content feeding the channel as much, those types of things. So I would definitely go in and look at those particular things. And then in addition to that, I would also, when it comes to these, 39,000 views, 21,000 views, like these are good view counts, and they hurt when you get views like this, right? This one's got 200,000 views on them. For that one's 47,000, but 97,000 views, 208,000 views, 87,000 views. So these are good. And then when you get a video that has 54,000 views, it makes it hurt because you have these videos that have done so much better. But rest assured that you are still doing well, and that people are responding well to what it is that you're doing. So what you have to try to figure out now is, and this is where looking into the structure, looking into video lengths and all of those things comes into play. But when you're looking at all these, thinking to yourself, like, okay, for these standout videos, like this one, or not that one, like this one, and then I thought you had another one up here, unless I selected it already. Yeah, here's an 80-something thousand view one. But basically, just looking at these and really digging in and being like, okay, what is it about these? And it's not necessarily like, look at your retention, see how people responded there, but also just kind of be like, what was my tone in these videos? What was showing on the screen when it first started? Did I get right into the thing? Did I, tease it a little bit before I got into the thing? Did I have a sponsored thing on, some of these compared to the ones that I didn't? Those types of things. And in addition to that, another thing that I would definitely do for any videos that are currently driving the channel as well is, and I'm just going to look to see if you're already doing this sort of thing or not. Okay, yeah, you are. So one thing that you can do also, and this is really helpful when you have videos that pop. So on a view count like this, this particular one's got 15,000 views. So you're not going to see like a massive surge from it. But when you, and I understand that you're doing this for income. So, that's the, priority. But when you can also pin a comment sometimes on some of the videos, and you can link that into a playlist of similar projects that the person that's watching this video is likely to enjoy, then you can also kind of feed some people into videos as well. And one of the cool things about YouTube is even when you have old videos like this that have done well in the past, if you start feeding new viewers into this through end screens, through depending on your traffic sources, where you got these views from, right? But if this is like recommendation feature traffic, meaning home pages, suggested videos, things like that, then one of the things that can happen is if you intentionally start trying to feed viewers into some of this content, this older content as well, if YouTube detects, hey, you know, these types of people are enjoying this now, then it can start testing that content against people again. And then that can sometimes give those videos, you know, some extra life again as well, because you're basically teaching YouTube, you know, like, hey, these types of viewers are into this now, so show it to more people like this if, you know, if they enjoy it. So I would definitely, you know, work on that kind of stuff, but just trying to get that understanding. And then in addition to that, like here you have a video that you published 3 weeks ago, and then you shared in your community feed a video 3 weeks ago too. So it looks like you're sharing these at the same time. This one's an old one, so this is good. Love this. But yeah, I would start doing some of this as well for some of those old videos or videos that you just go into your analytics and see that, you know, people have responded to, and just try to create those traps to where everything is interlinked. You're intentionally driving viewers into videos that are proven to perform on your channel, so that YouTube can see those people consuming more than one video when possible. And when people watch more than one video on the channel, then it's a great signal to them that people are enjoying your content, which can then in turn help them, you know, recommend future videos to those same people as well. So I know I talked about a lot of stuff there, so feel free to watch that on the replay, but just trying to give you some, you know, some insights there on just some approaches to take, some things to think about, all of that when it comes to your content and other things you can do as well. And I'm not sure if you're already doing this or not, but inside of your analytics, you can also go in there and you can also compare videos directly against each other. So you can be like, okay, on this one, you know, what was my retention compared to this one? You know, how many subscribers did this one gain? How many likes did this one gain? You know, you can look at, you know, all of that stuff. Where were the views coming from? And that can also give you some insights when you compare the videos that perform against videos that don't. So hopefully it was helpful. Let's see here. So next up on the list, and if you are just joining us, here's what's getting ready to happen. So we are going to be, I'm going to be looking, but we're going to be doing it together at YouTube channels and giving tips on things that, you know, that you might not be seeing right now, or things that, you know, we might be able to point out to you that might help you improve your YouTube channel and get, you know, more growth on what it is that you're doing. Because as a content creator, if you don't get that feedback, you know, we all get kind of stuck in this place where we're like, you know, hey, I'm doing it this way. And then, you know, if you don't get that feedback, you know, sometimes, you know, you can go for a while doing things that are working, you know, not in your favor, but then you can, you know, kind of turn things around a little bit when, you know, when you do get some fresh eyes on what it is that you're doing. So we're going to be pulling that up. It's completely free, so you don't have to, you know, super chat or anything like that in order to get your channel pulled up. So all you have to do is I'm going to be putting a word into this tool that I'm going to be showing on the screen here in a minute, and you just put that word into the chat. And then when you put that word into the chat, then the tool is going to randomly select somebody, and then we pull the channels up based on what the tool selects. But really quick, from the We family here, thank you for the super chat. Says, what are your thoughts on shorts hurting vlog channel CTR and retention? Bring in a lot of subs, but the wrong type of viewer. Thanks for what you do. My pleasure. So when it comes to shorts hurting the CTR of the long form content, they are different experiences. They're different algorithms. Like if somebody is over in YouTube Shorts and they're enjoying your content, yeah, YouTube, if they detect this person's like watching all your stuff and they're engaging with everything you're doing, their system does have the bridges in place, so to speak, to where they will recommend your long form content to those people just to see if they respond well to it. And if they do, then in that case, it's not, you know, an issue. But if they don't respond well to that long form content, then it's more about the long form content than it is the viewer. And the reason for that is a lot of people, and let me pull this up on screen so people kind of know what we're talking about here. Because a lot of people, when they look at YouTube Shorts, they think like, okay, well, YouTube Shorts viewers, they don't watch long form content. It's not the case at all. So when it comes to short form viewers and long form viewers, there's a lot of people that will watch long form content in certain situations, and they'll watch short form content in certain situations. So for example, let's say that I'm waiting to pick up my brother D, and we are going to go do something, and I'm just waiting outside his place, waiting for him to come out. And he's like, hey, be out in a few minutes, running a little behind, whatever. Then, I might pop up YouTube Shorts just to kill some time, watching some content while I'm waiting for him. Whereas when I get in front of the computer, I'm on a TV, then in that case, I might, invest more into the long form content instead of it being, instead of even considering going into YouTube Shorts. So because of that, it's important to think of them as two separate experiences for viewers. So instead of looking at it like your shorts content is hurting your CTR, look at it through the lens of like, okay, I've got people enjoying my shorts. So if they're enjoying my shorts, I'm going to keep giving them that. But now I need to work on how I package my videos, because if my CTR isn't great, then that means that those people aren't responding well to it. And it means that other people aren't responding well to it either, which means that I have work to do in terms of, getting people to, respond better to the content. But let's take this up a notch. And I'm just going to go to your channel here really quick and just see if anything is, is standing out here on what it is that you are doing. Yeah. Okay. So let me pull this up on screen here really quick. Okay. So right here on your channel, a few things to think about is, first off, congratulations for growing your channel to 39,000 subscribers on a vlog channel. That's a challenge just within itself. So congratulations to you. Like, you're doing awesome. But there's one thing that I do want to mention to you. There's a YouTube channel. It's a friend of mine. His name is Benji Travis. Go and hunt him down if you're not familiar with him already. Him and his wife have like a multi-million subscriber vlog channel. He's got another channel with like several 100,000 subscribers on it as a vlogger. But basically his whole brand now, because he's transitioned recently, and his whole brand now, even though he's still on his family vlogs, is he's also helping vloggers specifically, thrive on YouTube. So definitely hunt him down. But his name is Benji. Travis is the last name. But a couple things to think about. One, in terms of like what it is that you are offering here. And so we're going to start with this video. We're going to start with this video right here. So if we pull this up and we just look at this for what it is, then the first thing that we're going to see is and put yourself in the shoes of a viewer here. So if this pops up, you have difficult moments that you don't know about, and I'm stuck here, right? So this doesn't really add, even though you've got, 1.4, I believe it was 1.4 thousand views on this so far. This doesn't really like stand out in terms of like, like what type of context do I have? What type of, moments that you don't know about? Like, in terms of the packaging itself, there's nothing really compelling that makes you go like, oh, I should probably take a look at this, right? It doesn't seem like anything's really happening. It seems like, like maybe the kid is like depressed or something. I'm not sure. But basically it just seems like that there's just like no real reason to click on it. And when it comes to getting any activity on YouTube, one of the things that you want to think about when you're trying to get in front of new viewers and get them responding to what it is that you're doing so you can grow the channel, one of the things that you want to think about is if somebody were to see this video on their YouTube homepage, is this that might be something I could check out video, or is it a video that somebody feels that they need to watch, right? Because if it's hey, let me, kind of check this out video, they're going to go past it and they're going to click on something else that YouTube is recommending to them, because you're competing with everything that YouTube thinks that viewer is interested in that moment in time. So because of that, when you have a video, it's like, maybe I could check that out. Then it becomes a video that people can easily pass up. But when you can start packaging your videos in a way to where it's more of I need to check this out, then it's going to be more compelling and you can get more people in there. So I'm not sure exactly what happens in this video, but a couple of things that I would work on here is one, just clarity in terms of, like what's going on. And I understand I'm stuck here, the difficult moments that you don't know about. So you're trying to create that curiosity gap from the outside. totally get it. I totally understand what you're doing there. But I would experiment a lot with this from the outside. The views that you're getting for a vlog channel, like you're doing great, right? In terms of comparatively to a lot of other vlog channels, but you could definitely, ramp it up a bit too. Other things too, because this is a vlog, you have so much emphasis on text that it's distracting from what's happening here in the background, right? So what you need as a vlogger is for returning viewers to easily be able to identify like you, your family members, whoever it is that is the main characters in your vlog here. They need to be able to identify them, in as easy a way as possible. And then you also need to pick screenshots that make this feel, more compelling, like something's going on here, right? So I would definitely work on that. So as you know, YouTube has the thumbnail testing, and you can do that. They are also, according to I just posted about this on TikTok from a live stream where I mentioned it, but they also are testing. They put out an announcement to where they're testing title and thumbnail testing as well. And once you get that, then you'll be able to test an entire package. So you can do this as one version, and then you'll be able to do just wildly different things, but you'll be able to choose 3, and then you can completely test everything. So you can, figure it out from there. But basically just making sure that you are using imagery that helps your, viewers be able to recognize that it's you guys is going to be super important. And then trying to think about, how you can make it compelling. And if you can't make it super compelling, or if you can't make it, at least a little compelling, then work on clarity, right? In terms of like, okay, I'm stuck here, the difficult moments that you don't know, thinking about why would a new viewer, like why would this be important to them? And for everybody here, when it comes to your thumbnails and titles and your videos, and we all have to kind of work through these exercises, but when it comes on your thumbnails, or when it comes to your thumbnails and titles, one of the things that's really important to think about is when you're packaging it all up, for the people that I'm trying to reach with this, what exactly about this thumbnail is going to help them identify it in terms of this is something that they might care about. That thing can be text. It can be an object. It can be a person, those types of things. Like, what is it that's going to help somebody identify this is about something that they care about? And then when it goes to the title, the next step is, okay, if I grab their attention from the thumbnail and they look at the title, then how's this title either going to inform them or compel them to click on this particular video? Like, what exactly about it is going to, compel them to do that? And when you can start thinking about it that way, then it's going to give you the opportunity to be able to, to get a better response on the videos from the outside, just from doing that exercise. Let's see here. So a couple of things here. I'm just kind of looking through the chat, see what's going on. It says, is it bad for related videos to connect a long form to a short, and the short use a long form video as the related video link? So you can do that kind of stuff. It's not that it's bad, but like when it comes to connecting a long form to a short, one thing to think about is if you have the opportunity, especially if you're monetized, if you have the opportunity to send somebody from a long form video into a short, then what you're doing is you are giving yourself, you're limiting yourself in terms of, I have the opportunity right now to send somebody from a long form video into a long form video where I might be able to show an ad that will be worth more money, might be able to generate more watch time from that. Because it's longer, the viewer might get to know me a little bit better. All the advantages that come with long form content, you're basically making the choice to say, let me just send somebody into a YouTube short where they'll go into that short and then they'll get distracted, could possibly get distracted in the shorts feed and just start, swiping through everything, from there. And then they just get kind of lost in shorts instead of, you being able to, interact with them more through your stuff. Let's see here. Doug Hewson in the house. What's up, my dude? Hope you're doing great. Greg Bowman, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Says, first of all, big thank you for all your helpful content. Please help with any constructive criticism, no sugarcoating allowed. So I am going to pull yours up. And just as a reminder, so I am going to be doing it right here in just a few minutes. As soon as I get done with Greg's here, we're going to be looking at channels. You don't have to super chat for this. We're going to be doing it to where you just put in a word into the chat, and then the tool that I have is going to randomly select somebody out of the chat. So just a heads up. So you see the super chats coming in, and then I'm like looking at their channels because I'd be a jerk if I didn't. So because of that, just hang tight. We're going to be doing the free ones right here in just a minute. So I'm going to pull up Greg's channel here. It says any constructive criticism, no sugarcoating allowed. Love that. Love that. Okay, so let me get some. Is this going to? Oh no, it's not. Why doesn't it do that? It would do that at the other place. For some reason, maybe it's the way that I'm sharing it. I'm not sure. Oh, share this tab instead. Boom. Now let me try it. There we go. All right. Trying to fill up the screen here a little bit, make this look a little bit better. Okay. So a couple things, 128 subscribers, 38 videos. Welcome to our channel. We do everything outdoor and adventure related. Got your merch store in here. That's fantastic. Had a couple of videos pop off. 3,000 views, 1,000 views. Okay, not bad. Upload about every 4 days. Longest gap's 11 days. 21 uploads in the last 3 months. Okay, and that will be including shorts as well, I think. Okay, so the number one reason why to start a YouTube channel. Okay, so a couple things to think about here is when it comes to growing a channel, I'm not sure what your plans are long-term for the channel. But one thing that is really helpful when it comes to growing a YouTube channel is making sure that you're clear about what it is that you're trying to build. So for example, here, you're like, welcome to our channel. We do everything outdoor and adventure related. And then you have this video here talking about the number one reason why to start a YouTube channel. That has nothing to do with your value proposition here on the channel. And then here, yeah, this is outdoor. This is outdoor. This one looks more of like a, yeah, so this is more of like an RV tip video, right? So this also maybe or may not, because this is everything outdoor and adventure related. That one might fall into that category. I'm not sure. Let me see what else you're doing. Yeah, it doesn't look like you have much RV content on here. Here's another one, I guess. So you might have the RV stuff as one pillar, which is fine. But basically the idea I'm trying to express is you want to think about it through the lens of, I'm building a resource of content for people that are interested in these very specific things. So you can take the approach of, I'm just going to upload, you know, all these different things that I'm doing. But the downside of that is, let's say that I subscribed for things to do and see OBX. Not sure what that is. So I would definitely work on clarity there. But basically, let's say that I watch this video and I'm like, wow, this is great. Love this content. Love, you know, the people in the video. Like, this is just a great video. I'm subscribing it. I'm liking it. I'm going to watch every video this person, you know, puts out. And then YouTube shows me this, which is fall hunting success starts in the summer. So I guess this is about hunting. So in that particular case, I just went from a vacation video to now YouTube is recommending me a hunting video. So in that case, there's a humongous disconnect here from what I would have subscribed to versus what I'm now getting recommended when you publish this video. Another problem is in reverse. So if I really love this video and then YouTube recommends this trail camera placement hunting season coming soon, well, that's not in alignment either. I love watching vacation videos, but I'm not into hunting per se. So therefore, these videos are going to be an immediate disconnect from your channel. And here's where the problem starts. So when I'm interacting with your YouTube channel, YouTube is smart enough to know, like, okay, they watch these types of videos and stuff, and then they're likely to recommend the videos that are going to be the most appropriate from your channel. However, for the people that are really engaged, which are the people that matter the most, for those people, if YouTube recommends a handful of videos to them because they're so engaged that aren't in alignment, then every single time somebody doesn't respond to a video, then what you're doing is you are pushing them farther back in the group that YouTube initially recommend your content to. And when that happens and it keeps happening, then eventually you get to this place to where your videos have to perform really well in order for them to, like, they have to be on target in terms of topically, but then they also have to perform really well in order to even reach that person that was super engaged in what it was or what it is that you're doing. So because of that, just trying to get really clear and dial things in on what exactly am I offering. And then once you figure that out, running every video that you publish through a filter of, is this a perfect fit for this viewer that I'm trying to reach that's interested in these specific things? So some good crossovers are, you know, the campground secrets with the RV. Both of these, if we just kind of, you know, refresh this kind of look here, both of these, like this, you know, these are probably a good crossover because RV people are probably doing some campground stuff, you know, things like that. So I think, you know, both of those, you know, might be good. Or, you know, hunting and, hunting sort of related here. And then, hunting, like that's good too. But the problem is when you start, going into like these vacation videos, then again, you're breaking it for those people that are into hunting, right? So because of that, the thing that I would just think about is like, what is it that we're trying to offer? Let's break all these down into like 3 to 5 core pillars of content that are directly targeted towards a person that is interested in these particular things, and try to make sure that those pillars are very closely related in some way. So for example, on my channel, because you watch my stuff, on my channel, I can publish a video because I target YouTube content creators, specifically newer YouTube content creators, to help them get over those curves. But I also publish videos that are relevant to experienced creators as well. But with mine, like one of the things that I can do is I can say, okay, because a lot of YouTube content creators also make content on their mobile devices, well, I could make some mobile videos too and serve that part of my audience. When doing that, I would know that, yeah, those mobile content creators are a part of my audience. But when I publish that video, right out of the gate, I know that when I publish that video, that a large amount of people are not going to watch that video that are my core audience, because they don't do everything on their phone. So because of that, that video instantly becomes irrelevant to them. So if I build up the audience through that pillar of mobile content creators, then I would be able to absorb that hit more when I publish those videos. And also the videos might do fine like long term, and then, help me build that audience. But the initial hit that I would take when I first published that video would be substantial, because a smaller segment of my audience is people that does everything on their phones. So hopefully that made sense. Let's see here. So it says, love to know what you think of my channel. Been at it 5 years. So here's what I'm going to do. Because I see the other super chats that come in, all the helpful info. My channels need feedback, help. Okay, so I see these 2 other super chats in here, and I will get to those. But I also want to make sure that I get some, free super chats up here, or not super chats, but some free, channel reviews up here as well. So because of that, what we're going to do now. And then I'm going to do like a couple of these, and then I'll go back to the super chat ones. So all you have to do here is put Niminati into the chat right now. Just put that word into the chat. And then once you put that in there, this tool is going to start collecting, the entries. And then once it starts collecting those entries, I'm going to hit this start button, and then it's going to, randomly select. And it looks like my tool's not working. Oh no, I got to hit start. There we go. And basically how this works is if your name is selected, then we pull you up on screen. So by putting this word in the chat, you're essentially giving me permission or agreeing to let me pull up your channel and give you tips. And sometimes tips can be harsh. Most of the time they're okay. But sometimes, I have to be, straight with people, because if I'm not, then it's not, it doesn't help. So because of that, just know that by putting that word in the chat, that you are, agreeing to that. So don't send me mean emails or anything if I say something that you don't like. And really quick, Road Reality, what's going on, man? Nice to see you in here. Says, Nick told me the same thing a year ago, and now I have 2 monetized channels, both growing nicely. 100% top shelf advice. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, man, I remember that. You were mixing motorcycle content with other content. Yeah, I remember that. Fitness with Barbara says, what tool is this? StreamYard. So I'm using StreamYard to live stream, but the tool that I'm using right here is a tool that I built myself. So, because now we have, all of this cool technology available to us, like I've got some browser extensions, like the other tool too, where I'm like, putting colors on thumbnails and that kind of stuff. I have a whole tool that I built for myself for reviewing YouTube channels, that kind of stuff. I've got an app that you can actually see. You can scan this right down here, or go to the link at the top of the chat. I have an app that I built for content creators as well. But I'm like really getting into like developing stuff, because I just think it's fun and it's a change of pace, to make that kind of stuff. And then I'm able to make stuff that helps me. And then also some of it helps others. Like, for example, I have this other extension that I made that is public. So this is all like, I just use it myself. But the extension that's public is called Tab Stacks. And basically it allows you to launch like workflows. So like when you're live streaming, or if you have, certain things that you do and you require, different, tabs to open at a certain time, you can just hit a button and then you they all pop up, and then you can easily just grab the group and slide it to other monitors, stuff like that. But yeah, really enjoying that stuff. But enough about me. Let's go ahead and hit this pick a winner and see who gets in here. Trying to learn bikes. Boom. So trying to learn bikes, since this button here doesn't work and I can't figure out how to get it to work in order to go directly to your YouTube channel, I'm going to have to just grab it right here out of the chat if I can find it here. And how we're going to do these is I'm going to pull it up, just give you some, some quick tips, that kind of stuff. And then we do another one and then another one. And then we just kind of do it. Cause like right where I'm at locally, it's like 11 PM. So because of that, like after a certain amount of time, I get kind of, petered out. so because of that, I just go for, for an amount of time. Okay. Trying to learn bikes. Here we go. Gotcha. Okay. Go to channel. Share this tab. Boom. Okay. Trying to learn bikes. So very first thing, 11,000 subscribers. Nice work. Continuing to grow. Love it. As we go here. So I saw that you had one video here that was just recommended to me on the For You. So you got some videos on your channel here that have done like really well. 3 years ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So yeah, a couple things is one, oh, you are still kind of keeping that same branding going. Okay, so that's good. Go in my clutch. This is what happened. Okay, so really quick, I would definitely try to upload more because you're uploading like 5-minute and 8-minute videos. I mean, if people have a really high response, this is fine. It's perfectly okay. But I would definitely try to, upload more if you can, just because of the length of videos that you're putting out. I would be trying to publish more. And just kind of taking more swings with what it is that you are doing. That would be number one. Scrapyard secret, best custom motorcycle headlight hack ever. Nobody talks about. So I used to have a motorcycle when I lived in the States. I'm into motorcycles like this one here, just as a heads up, at a glance, at a small size, I had to sit there for a second and try to figure out what was going on here. So when it comes to, these types of things, just sitting back and looking at it at a small size, because I know when we make thumbnails, we make them, big. So just looking at a small size and just asking, how clear it is at a small size is really important. That'll help you when it comes to just homepage traffic, when it helps you, when it comes to suggested videos. Hey, what's up, Jerry? When it comes to suggested videos, all of that, that type of clarity will help. Clutch pudding chaos. So a couple of things, since you do focus on motorcycles specifically, I mean, the clutch part is pretty clear. So I think you're probably going to be okay there. But one of the things that I was going to mention is like here, I found pudding goo in my motorcycle clutch or something like that, just so it's clear, that it's a motorcycle and not a four-wheeler or, a car clutch or, something like that. Just so you add that little bit of clarity there. This one's clear, super clear that it has something to do with a motorcycle. How to fix your dirt bike's most common problem. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so the next thing, moto vlog or moto dog, learning the hard way, not easy. Yeah, this is one too. We're just trying to work on that clarity. So one thing that's helpful when it comes to just video ideas by themselves is asking yourself, okay, so if I'm going to make this video, how am I going to package it? And by package it, I mean, what thumbnail and title am I going to use, for the video? And when you ask yourself that question, then it also helps you know what videos to make or not. So like, for example, in this one, you have not easy, moto vlog or moto dog, learning the hard way. So this does tell me that it has something to do with a moto vlog. Not sure what the moto dog is. And then like learning the hard way, like there's not much clarity here on what I might be getting out of this particular video from the outside. So I would definitely, just kind of reevaluate that particular video. You got this. Don't miss out. Life is short. This is your years. This is your year. Okay. So this type of thing can be really powerful. Like what you're doing here, when you're talking to a specific group of people and you say, don't miss out. Life is too short. Like this is your year. Like there's something that I call an audience identifier. And that basically is where you add very specific things to your videos and or your thumbnails to where it helps the people that you're trying to reach just know that it's specifically for them. So here you have it to where it's like, yeah, this has something to do with, motorcycles, but, having it here, like, motorcycle riders, don't miss out, life is too short, or motorcycle riders, this is your year, right? And then by doing that, one, it's just one, easy to read kind of sentence there. And then two, it's just super crystal clear who it's for. So I would definitely consider doing that type of thing as well when it comes to some of these. But yeah, I think really most of what you're doing, like, this is clearly a motorcycle seat. This one, if it's on like a phone, this one's probably okay as well. But even making a clear mention here, like, scrapyard secret for motorcyclists, something like that. And I know that you say it here, but, those little extra things for the people that you're trying to reach, it just kind of calls them out. So I would definitely just consider doing more of that. But a lot of these are fine in terms of just being clear who it's for. But keep in mind, like this one here, Friday the 13th, December 24. As soon as you put dates on things like this, it makes the video to where it's dated, right? So for example, for people running across this now, this isn't going to be as meaningful just because these dates are on here. So I would go in there and update that as well. Even if this was for an event that was locked into a specific time, maybe repackaging it around that event and then getting rid of all the date related stuff just to see, if it makes a difference for that one. So one thing that I do want to, that's just kind of standing out to me here is this one here, 7 months ago, clean any motorcycle carb like a pro, beginner's guide. So here, there's like a crystal clear value attached to it. You have a before and after photo that makes this really easy to understand in terms of it was, like rough, and then now it's like super clean. And then the title itself, clean any motorcycle carb like a pro, very clear value. You say exactly who it's for. So if you're new to motorcycles, then, this is your thing. When you have videos like this that, that do better, looking at it and thinking to yourself, okay, when it comes to videos that I make, and I see you're trying to repeat it up here, but when it comes to like these, looking for things that maybe stood out to people and experimenting with those specifically. So like if we look at this right here, we have beginner's guide. So when it came to here, you're saying the same thing, but you're saying it differently. So I would even experiment with on this particular video, and this is going to sound stupid, but just kind of bear with me here. But since this package worked right here, one thing that I would experiment with is I would go in and I would change the thumbnail to where, if you still have these images, I would change this to where this seat's on a white side. This one's on a black side, maybe with a glow, so it kind of stands out because it looks like you might need to do that because it's black. And then have the same text in the same exact way, before and after, but with the, the color behind it. And then here, fix your motorcycle seat like a pro, beginner's guide, right? And then what you can start to do is, as you start to publish videos like this, and this is just theming is kind of what you're doing here. But if you repackage this, because it's the same idea, then what you can also do is you can start putting together a playlist of those beginner guides for people. And then once you have those beginner guides for people, then when you publish that video, then you can start putting that playlist together. And then at the end of the videos that you publish, you can say something like, hey, and if you're just starting to ride, I got a whole playlist of videos just for you, to help you as a beginner right here. Go ahead and click into that now. And then you can start driving people into these playlists of, beginner's guide videos that you've put together. So I would definitely try to do that sort of thing. Yeah, even with some of these, right? Like where relevant, like putting, some of these, adding the beginner's guide, things like that for some that, maybe could use some extra life, just kind of re-optimizing them around, the beginner's guides and stuff like that is definitely something that I would consider just for, a strategy of a way to kind of theme out some of this content. Because ultimately what you're trying to do with that move is you're trying to get it where people will watch more than one video because they clearly and quickly understand that, that those videos are specifically for them, right? Build and Fix with Mooney, what's going on? Flash in your pan. Nice to see you in here. Hope everybody's doing great. If you are just joining the stream, what we're doing is we are looking at YouTube channels. So I have, let's see here. Okay, we got that one already. So I have, what I'm doing right now is I have 2 super chats that are in queue. So I'm grabbing those. I just looked at this channel, and then I'm grabbing one of those, and then we're going to do another free one. And then I have another super chat, and I'm going to do that one. Then we're going to come back to another free one. But for this, you don't have to super chat. Okay. Basically how this works is I put this thing up on the screen. I'll just switch this tab so you can see. I put this thing up on the screen, but I put a different word in here because this is just the default word, but I put a different word in here. And then all you have to do is put the word into the chat. And then when you put that word into the chat, then I pull it up. Sorry, you put that word into the chat, and then this tool will pick a winner. And then we pull that channel up. But we're going to go to Leo Cooks Things here. What's up, Leo? So let's go to share this tab instead. And really quick, just for the sake of, clarity on my end to make sure everybody's, kind of following along here. Out of the things that I just mentioned for that previous channel or that I've mentioned so far, does anybody have any questions about, any of the ideas that I just shared for that other channel? And also remember that while we are looking at these channels, if you notice something, because I have the things that I focus on, but, any feedback that we can give is great. So if you notice something and you're like, hey, this could, be better, or that isn't clear, or whatever your feedback is, feel free to drop that in the chat as well, because any feedback that we can give, the better off, everybody's going to, better off everybody's going to be for the channels that we pull up. All right. So let's see here. Let me scroll up and let's do it. Okay, so Leo Cooks Things, Build and Fix with Mooney. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I will add you to the queue. So Leo Cooks Things, new episode every Friday. Fantastic. I love the clarity in terms of, like, it's pretty clear what this channel is about. It's a cooking channel. You also let people know that you publish every Friday, which is also fantastic because then they know what to expect from you. Thumbnails look good. Love this. Where are you at right now? Almost 4,000 subscribers. So I'm not sure if you're doing this or not yet. But I would definitely, let me go to your videos tab where it matters. Yeah. So one thing that I would definitely do is I would experiment with text versus no text, because sometimes when it comes to food content, the text can work against you. Sometimes it can help you. So because of that, I would definitely experiment there. But I think the imagery looks great. It looks like what you're doing here, like your camera, all the angles, all that stuff looks great. Yeah, like this all looks great to me from the outside. Puff Pastry is the ultimate hot dog bun. So I'm not sure if you're trying to show people here how to cook, like if you're going through like recipes and stuff. Ice pops are the perfect summer treat. My wife just started making watermelon salad. We had it in Dubai, and she started making that now. I absolutely love it. It's not what you have here, but it just kind of looks kind of similar. Perfect summer snack, potato salad 2.0, best potato salad you ever had. Okay. So in my opinion, I think your packaging is actually okay. So my concern with what's happening here is the actual video content itself. Hold on, let me see what videos have done well over here. Okay, so you had one. So your biggest video for long form is 15K. Okay, so I'm just going to go into here really quick. Staying period simple done. Let's go into your transcript. I'm going to show you guys how to make the perfect steak with delicious creamy dish feed together. You fire it up first. These are also going to do about quarter cup. Okay, so you get right into it too. Okay, so a couple of things, because it looks like you're following best practices here. And this looks good. Yeah, so it looks like you're doing best practices here. Like I wouldn't worry about having today, I'm going to show you. Like I would just get into, like I would skip the today. It doesn't, like, it's not a huge thing, just a tiny nuance, but I'm going to show you how to, and don't say you guys either. When it comes to YouTube, talk to a person. So yes, absolutely. Sometimes people do, watch videos in a group or with other people, but a lot of times, people are watching videos, by themselves too. With TV viewership, more people are watching on TVs with others. But I'm going to show you, so for that connection, part of it, right? So I would definitely stop using the plural language and go singular, so that when the viewer is watching, it doesn't matter if they're watching with a group of people, because when you say, I'm going to show you, you are still talking to that group of people that are watching the video. And if somebody's sitting there and they're watching it by themselves and you say, I'm going to show you, then you're still talking directly to that person. So that's good for connection, makes everything feel more personal instead of, hey guys, where, you're just talking to, a bunch of, random people essentially. So here's what I would do in your case. So from the outside, like all this stuff looks good. Because I can't watch your videos on stream because I don't know, what you have in terms of music and, stuff like that. So I can't watch the videos, which is why I opened up your transcript. But the one thing that I would do though, is I would go into your audience retention reports and start looking for, like, when things are packaged well, the videos look good, all those things, then usually it'll come down to just how people are responding to the video content. So a couple of things I'm going to just recommend here. The very first is go into your audience retention reports, look and see how people are responding to the videos. I'm sure you're doing this already, but one thing that people often overlook is the compared to other videos stat. So with these, like with this particular one, I mean, it's a new video, so this might be better over time, but when you do the compared to other videos, I would do it on the videos that had a little bit more views on them though. But basically when you go and you do the compared to other videos, it's just going to show you how you're comparing to other videos of similar length. And sometimes that can just put an emphasis on, like, if your videos are being competitive within YouTube's system or not. So I would definitely do that. I would also go through, and if you're not running A/B tests on these, which it looks like you're not, or the tests are complete. Yeah. So one thing that I would also do is I would A/B test all of these with different photos, all of that stuff, and see, because I think all this stuff looks delicious. I think the color's great. It stands out. It's clear. Some of the text on here, is definitely attention grabbing. It's big, bold, easy to read. Like, you're following all the best practices. So now I would just start experimenting, and then I would dig into the actual video content. I would dig into the video content itself. But when it comes to this one, you have tried this, the best canned salmon recipe you've been waiting for. People responded to that. So a couple things that I would do if you haven't yet is I would go in here and I would say, what was I showing as soon as this video started? What was I saying as soon as this video started? What did I do next? What did I do next? What did I do next? And then I would start matching that against your retention, because this video right here, you have some like real data that you can work with here. Actually, all of these videos all the way down to, like right around here, it starts getting a little bit, cloudy. But anything that's, 1,000 and up, you can definitely get some, good information out of that in terms of how people are responding to things. So I would just go in and just look structurally, like on these videos that have done better. Is there anything that you've done here that you are not doing in the others? And be very specific and be weird about it. So like, for example, when you're looking into that sort of thing, be really weird about it and ask yourself, like, okay, like literally for the first X amount of seconds before the camera cuts, like, what am I showing? As that's happening, do I have music playing? Yes or no? What's my tone when it first starts? Do I come across friendly? Do I come across kind of assertive? Do I come across, confident? Do I come across, like, how do I come across? Am I looking at the camera? Am I not looking at the camera? Like all of those things, and just start, going through the list in terms of, what you did in that video compared to what you're doing in the current videos that people aren't responding to as well. Another thing that's really important is also go and look in terms of where you got the views from on this video, because you might find that this did well in recommendations, which is where those things are going to be even more important. Or you might find that, this is being served up in YouTube search and people are responding to it there, which, if that's the case, then you might want to start considering optimizing some, not all, but some of your videos for YouTube search, so that you can get some good, staple videos in there around high volume search queries, so that, or high volume search terms, so that when when you identify like a lot of people are looking for these types of recipes, then you can make search-based videos for those. And then if you can get your videos showing up in YouTube search, there's a really good chance they can show up in Google search. Sometimes they'll show up in Google search and not YouTube search at all, and Google will become a traffic driver for it. You can also get videos showing up in ChatGPT now. So basically having some videos while you're trying to get the momentum going on this, where you have some videos that are targeted for search to kind of feed into your channel, to, start feeding some of these videos, so that you can start, getting more consistent viewership on some of these. So I think what you're doing looks great from the outside, and it's pretty clear, as well. So, it usually comes down to the actual content itself when you're in a situation like this, because you're doing all the best practice stuff. Other things too, just really quick, is on the one that was the best canned, your top video here. Your second top video is also seafood. So looking for those types of, connections as well. And then you have sardines, which is also, seafood-ish. And then you slide into pasta. So starting to look for patterns like that as well is going to be beneficial for you. So for example, and you can do this in your advanced analytics. You have a grouping feature where you can group content together. So if you have a food channel, or if you're doing, like the motorcycle channel that we pulled up, if you have some content that's kind of like vlogish, and then you have some content that's like, like help content, then in that case, you can group them together and you can say, okay, what are people responding to better? And that can just kind of give you an idea of videos that you need to add to your schedule. So you can make sure, okay, if I'm publishing videos, every, let's see what you're doing here. Yeah, if I'm publishing a video a week, then that means over the next 90 days, I've got like 12 videos going out. So if I know that on my channel, typically people respond well to seafood, then in that case, I need to make sure that out of those 12 videos, that I've got at least 4 of them that are seafood for the sake of those spikes. And then the others can be, some of the pillars that don't get as good of a result as the seafood videos do. So just pay attention to those types of things too. All right, so now we are going to, let me close some of these here because they're starting to stack up. And I'm going to pull this up on the screen. So we're going to do another one here to where all you have to do, if you are just joining us, all you got to do is put this word that I'm getting ready to put up on the screen, put it into the chat, and then I'm going to hit the pick a winner button. And then when I pick that button, then it's going to just randomly pick somebody to put this word into the chat. So if you put the word in the chat, you are giving me permission to pull up the YouTube channel, give you some feedback and all of that. So new creator is the word. And the reason that I'm using new creator as the word is because I did make an app. Bearded IT Dad, thanks for the super chat. Oop, wrong button here. Super chat. Appreciate it. And I'm going to add that to the queue, and then we're going to kind of stop it there so I can also make sure to do the free ones as well. So basically, I still have Enchanting Tales podcast to do. And then I also have Bearded Dad to do. And let's see here. Gave me some big feedback, so appreciate it. I've been working hard on repackaging everything. Pierre Remnant, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. I'm not sure if you meant that you also wanted me to have you in the queue or not. I'm not sure. And but yeah, so Build and Fix with Moody, Bearded IT Dad, and K-Bears React. Yeah, those yeah, so those are in queue. But yeah, so new creator. So basically, I put out an app for content creators, and the app, it will help you come up with better titles, help you make better thumbnails. It helps you manage all of your different content ideas, all kinds of like really cool and helpful stuff as a content creator. I've actually got, let's see here. So here, for example, when it comes to like video ideas, if you have trouble coming up with video ideas, the app will help you come up with like great video ideas. So in this example, I just put in CapCut, and then you can see how it organizes the videos into different categories. So, who, what, when, where, why, and how. It also breaks it down into like, best and why, and all of that. So it breaks it down into all the different ways that people find content, tutorials, guides, that kind of stuff, to help you come up with great video ideas. It has a thumbnail testing tool where you can put your thumbnails into it, and then you also put your title in there because it looks for synergy between your thumbnail and your title, and then it gives you a report based on what you put in that lets you be able to identify, if you are making your thumbnails too crowded, that kind of stuff. It tells you what the main subject is. And it just kind of gives you a second pair of eyes and some feedback on some things that you might be overlooking. But it has those things and a bunch of other helpful tools for you as a content creator. So make sure you check it out. I've got it pinned at the very top of the screen, or you can look for New Creator in the Apple App Store currently. It is iPhone only, but it will be available in the future for Androids and for a desktop version. So here we go. Thanks for listening to my rant, by the way, for my thing there. Okay, so Pokinol. Pokinol is the channel here. Bearded IT Dad.
Welcome to the Niminati Chill Mode.
Oh, wrong one.
Welcome to the Niminati.
So make sure when you get the chance, go to the Facebook group. You can find that at niminvip.com. I just put up on the screen. If you want to join that Facebook group, we also have a Discord. So as long as you are in Discord with the same account that you are connected with here, then you also have the Discord. My preference is Discord because it has like questions. So if you have a question about anything, you can post that question, and then I can go directly to that question. It's all threaded and easily organized. So definitely make sure you check it out. Ride Along Gang says, did he say he created this app, New Creator? Yes. Okay, so we got that. We've got that. And Pokinol, I'm just kind of looking for Pokinol's channel here in the chat. Pokinol, if you could say something in the chat just to kind of help me find you more easily here. Let's see here. Pokinol. Give me 1 second here as I dig this up. Pokinol. There we go. Okay, so Pokinol. Thank you. Okay, so let me move this over to this window. And it looks like you are doing Pokemon stuff. Okay, super cool. So let's go ahead and switch to this tab. So news, tips, tricks, and gameplay. All of that is good. I would definitely make sure that you do make it clear. I mean, the name by itself told me that it had something to do with Pokemon, so I think you're fine. But putting that up here might be helpful, but that's not something that you need to like stress about because that's not going to move the needle for you. The thing that matters is, the actual video content, what you're doing there. But those are just little helpful things to add clarity for when people are exploring your channel. That's what those are for. But right here, Pokemon Go Adventure, week 1, new shines. So I'm not familiar enough with Pokemon imagery. If you are in the chat and you're very familiar with Pokemon, then in that case, let me know if like these videos here, this one has the Pokemon logo on there. And it has the champions. So because of that, I'm going to guess this one's, going to be more easy to identify. But this one over here, I'm not sure. So one thing that I would do since you are making Pokemon content is I would try to make sure that you have just crystal clear at a glance imagery on here because you have it in the title and that's going to grab people's attention as well. But the whole goal with a thumbnail is your thumbnail, like you want to think of it like this. So let's say that titles didn't exist on YouTube. And y'all want to think about this as well. Daniel Batal in the house. What is going on, dude? Nice to see you in here. Says Renee in here. Did I kick him out? So yeah. So in the live stream that I do with my brother D on Saturday, Daniel came in. He was on pain meds because he just had some knee surgery, and because he's a moderator, he was in there clicking around. Then he accidentally banned Renee Ritchie from my chat, which is funny. But yeah, he's back in there now. Doug got it all sorted. Oh, love it. Okay, so basically what you want to do is like when you're looking at your thumbnails, you want to kind of think about it like if a title didn't exist, how clear would it be to somebody that it had something about? For me, this one right here where it has Pokemon Presents, super clear that it has something to do with Pokemon on here. This one here, because it has the logo on here, even though it's small, this one might be okay on like maybe home pages, maybe on mobile devices. But when it comes to suggested videos, if this imagery here doesn't scream Pokemon, it might. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a Pokemon person. But if this doesn't scream Pokemon, then in that particular case, I would, make sure that every single image that you have here screams Pokemon. Like these here where you have the logo, you're clear there. But anything else that doesn't, I would definitely make sure that you are, making that just crystal clear. Let's see if you've had any popular videos. So 45,000 views 2 years ago. Nice. 20,000 views 2 years ago. Yeah. So this is another one, right? To where, you're another one of those channels that we've pulled up today to where you got some views on some of these. So I would go in and I would start looking at these videos, even though some of them are dated, they're all dated. I would go in and I would start looking at these in terms of like, where are the views coming from these? Like, are you getting these from search traffic? Are you getting it from YouTube's recommendation system? And I would go in and I'd try to start understanding these videos and what you were doing in these videos and how people found these videos. So you could try to, kind of duplicate that because you've made videos that people clearly respond to. However, like if you go and you look at your latest videos, they're just not responding to them as well. You have this one, 1,000 videos from a month ago. Hold on. Did you take a break? A year ago, 9 months ago, 4 months ago? Oh, okay. I see what's happening. Okay. So yeah. So it looks like you kind of broke your stride here. Like you were kind of doing, getting things moving and then you kind of gave up and then you came back to it, or you took a break and then you came back to it. So yeah. So I would just work on the clarity side of things. I would definitely, start just kind of, when it comes to YouTube, if you want to continue to do YouTube over a long period of time, it's important to not take long breaks when you can avoid it. If you have a channel that is like search-based, things like that, then in that case, you can get away with it a little bit easier. But when you are, publishing videos to YouTube and you are trying to keep the momentum going, I would definitely just try to make sure that you're working the process of creating and publishing content into your lifestyle. Because it looks like you went from this big break to now you're coming out with daily content. So you have 7 days ago, 6 days ago, and then one, not daily, I'm sorry. You had two back to back, and then you had the 1 day ago. So a couple of things that I would just make sure that you're thinking about is when it comes to the content that you're publishing, make sure that you can do it at a pace that you can maintain. Because that's super important when it comes to YouTube if you want to do it for a long time. So I would definitely focus on clarity in your thumbnails and make sure that you do just focus on consistently publishing. And also that video from the Reacts to Pokemon Presents, I would get the date off of that too. Just because, again, that makes it feel like it's an old video, which it is. But, it just makes it more clear in the thumbnail where people might still go in and watch it if it didn't have that. And then also, I would remove the Poke Nail Reacts too, because right now, when it comes to your channel, there's just not at scale. There's not enough people that know that name yet for them to, care that you're reacting to that video. So because of that, I wouldn't use your own name in your titles right now until you start getting like a large amount of people that are regularly coming back. And even then, I would just focus it on the subject matter more so than the name of the channel when it comes to your titles. All right. So next up on our list here, so I'm going to jump up and do one of the super chats that came in. And just as a heads up, we are back to the free ones now. So I have some super chats queued up, but don't super chat because that's not going to get you in the queue faster like these other ones that did it already because they were just here early. So that allows me to be able to do it. Okay, so that one isn't showing up in there. So I'm just going to have to look for it. Enchanting Tales podcast. Okay, I think this is it. Okay. So when it comes to your channel here, Enchanting Tales podcast, the very first thing I'm going to recommend to you is don't use templated thumbnails like this. Because right now what you're doing is you are packaging this whole thing around your brand and nobody knows about your brand yet. Right? So having your channel name, that's good. I would definitely get some channel art in here, for that additional clarity. Like this is fine, but I would definitely get that in here because that's going to matter. I would make a unique thumbnail for every video that you publish. Instead of having episode 2 overcoming adversity, overcoming adversity. Sorry. Instead of having that, Just make these crystal clear about whatever it is that you are talking about, because and make sure that everything is targeted towards like a particular, subject of some kind, which I guess in your case is enchanting tales. But it seems like you kind of broke some things here right out of the gate. So you have episode 1, dynamic duo, and then you have like 2 videos in between, and then the next one comes up here is this overcoming adversity, and then 2 more here, and then you haven't done another episode. So just a few things I'm going to go over with you here because you're just getting started. So you need to kind of go through the ringer here a little bit in terms of just kind of getting started. So the first thing is when it comes to titles on YouTube, best practice is to put your not even sure if this works this way. Yeah, it is to make sure that when you are writing your titles that you are putting any episode numbers or anything like that here at the end of the title, right? When it comes to best practices, because what you want to focus the viewer on is the thing that actually matters, which is the subject matter. So instead of overcoming adversity, which I know that this is where you are essentially just trying to help people I think this is where you're trying to help people overcome adversity. And maybe that's the theme of your tale. Instead, I would definitely work on this and try to make it just something that would be interesting. Because right now, if this shows up on a homepage, I mean, you can see it. If you look at your views, if this shows up on a homepage, like this doesn't say anything. Like there's no reason for anybody to click on any of this. So I would just start thinking like, how can I express what I'm talking about here in a way that might be interesting to somebody when it shows up on their homepage on YouTube? And when you're doing that, all you have to do is think to yourself, okay, so if this were to show up on YouTube for me, and I didn't know anything about the channel, I am just a viewer, that just runs across this. If this were to show up for me, then 1, how would this grab my attention, right? Enchanting Tales podcast, right now, it doesn't mean anything, right? To a new person, to a stranger, it doesn't mean anything yet. So because of that, instead of having the thumbnails Enchanting Tales podcast, make it something that, that would be more reflective of the story, maybe make it something that is, more clear. Maybe it's a book, maybe it's a book to where you're at least pulling in people that are interested in story in some way through using like a book as part of the thumbnail. But I also wouldn't use templates. And the reason that I wouldn't use templates right now is because you need to experiment a lot. Right now you're taking, and I'm just being upfront with you here, and this isn't an attack, I'm just letting you know. But right now you're just being, you're being pretty lazy when it comes to putting the thumbnails together and, that kind of thing. So if you had traction already and people were able to identify your podcast through these thumbnails because you had a bunch of people interacting with what you're doing, then in that case, you can be a little bit more lazy. You still, if you're trying to actively do everything you can to grow the channel, you still don't want to do that, but you can, right? You can get away with it more. But right now you're trying to get that initial attention. So because of that, I would be experimenting like crazy. I wouldn't commit to your thumbnail color, which is currently purple. I would be experimenting with colors, with imagery, with different ways to do the titles. I'd be experimenting with all of it. Don't use hashtags in your titles for your long form videos. It's completely unnecessary and it doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form. If you want to use hashtags, make sure that you're putting those down into your video descriptions. Okay. And then now we are going to jump back up, and I did the enchanting one. So now we are going to go down to build and fix with Mooney. Says, give me a couple more tips, please. Yeah, because we've pulled this up a few times. So unless you've made some, some updates, not sure what we got here outside of, I'm going to look into your videos here and say 50,000 subscribers. Hey. 1 second. High five, fist bump. High five, high five, fist bump. Congratulations, man. High five, fist bump. High five, high five. Now everybody's clapping for you. Clapping. So congratulations on 50K, man. I didn't realize that you had crossed 50K, or maybe I did, and then it just kind of faded out of my head. But yeah, congratulations to you for that. love seeing that progress. Absolutely love it. Okay. So let's see, we're skip. Okay. You just published this 38 minutes ago. So how to build a simple outdoor bench for under $50. Good. How to build a mini crosscut. Okay, good. How we built this teardrop camper from scratch. Great. How to start woodworking with 10 affordable tools first. Great. So you can see here, I've looked at this one already, and I really hope that you've added some affiliate links down here, because you're doing all the channel stuff, right? You're doing the channel stuff. You're getting activity on your videos. You're getting like 1,000, plus people through most of your videos. You have some that are popping with like 33,000 views and more. So the next thing that I would do, man, if you're not doing it already, and I know I keep harping you on this. Oh, okay, you are. Okay, you're doing it direct through YouTube here. Okay, you're good. Good. Okay, so yeah, so you are adding links here through YouTube's system, which is fantastic. Okay, good. Love seeing it. So keep doing that. I would also experiment with adding direct links here as well, because here you're going to Home Depot and all of that. If they have these on Amazon, I would also sign up to be an Amazon associate, because you have their requirements. So I would sign up to be an Amazon associate as well. And I would also add Amazon options down here so that people can make the call on if they want to go through here or if they want to go to Amazon. And the benefit of the Amazon links in comparison is this is going to show up in your AdSense, which is fine. But when it comes to the Amazon links, one, that it gives you the opportunity to where if I go to Lowe's right now and if I click on this and I go to Lowe's and I look at the details of this particular device here, and I'm like, you know what? This isn't really for me, but let me go grab a wrench instead. In that case, I'm not sure if Lowe's, and you might want to look into this, but based on YouTube's system, I don't think that they're going to give you a commission of that wrench that gets sold. I think it's just based on the individual objects that you have here. So because of that, one of the things that I would do is it happened last night. Awesome, man. Congratulations. Absolutely love it. Feels great, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel amazing? Yeah, I love it, dude. I'm so happy for you. Absolutely love it. But basically, when it comes to this, like, keep doing this, but I would also put the Amazon links down there as well. And the reason for the Amazon links is because if people click on those Amazon links and they go to check out this, but they don't buy that, then in that case, if they go and they buy a package of something else, then in that case, then hold on, I get all kinds of sales from other tool sales. Oh, okay. So for example, just to be clear, if I click on this and I don't buy this object here, will you still get a percentage of anything else that I buy that's not directly related to this? If the answer is yes, then in that case, don't worry about it. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Then you're good. Okay. Then keep trucking. Yeah. You're doing great. Keep trucking. Good. Love seeing you taking the affiliate route. This is great. Yeah. This made my day, seeing you monetizing down here. I would still offer Amazon as a possible solution to people and see if you notice if one does better than the other. But this is great though. Like this is fantastic. So yeah, absolutely love it. So one thing, just to go ahead and just let you know, one, I love it that you have somebody here that loves your style. But in here, this isn't going to be something that's necessarily going to matter for the videos themselves, but in terms of trying to build a community around what you're doing, I would, if you're not already, just ask people a simple question somewhere in your videos, maybe, somewhere around, this like 2 or 3 minute mark. Ask them a question about something, because you're doing woodwork, because you're using tools, because you're, doing all this stuff. Ask them questions throughout the video. Start a conversation, because when you start the conversation and you make a question and you give people a question they can easily answer, then it makes it easy for people to engage in what it is that you're doing, which you might have done this already because you have the yep. So, for example, I chose this type of wood for this. Would you have chosen, the same exact thing? Since it's for beginners, I don't know, that might not be the best question. Maybe since it is for beginners, maybe if you're using a particular tool in here, asking like, hey, do you have one of these yet? Or, something like that. Or, hey, if you don't have this one, which one are you using? Or something like that, just to try to give them a lead on something to say down in the comment section, right? So you can start to build more of a community around what it is that you're doing. Yeah, so I would definitely do that. In addition to that, another thing that I would start doing is adding additional links down in your description to other projects. So if people are going down into your video description, which people do, people think that people don't look at video descriptions, but they do. When people go down to your video description, have links to other projects down there that are related to this. Kind of like here, you have this for beginners. So you could say, hey, here's my full, here's all of my woodworking videos for beginners. And then there they can click into that playlist and then they can go binge watch your content, right? So it just makes it easy for people to find more of your content. Because they're already enjoying this, right? And then same exact thing down here, down in the comment section, I would also write a comment. Hey, since you are a beginner woodworker, because you're qualifying them here in this particular video as a beginner. Hey, since you're a beginner woodworker, I have a whole series of videos that's going to help you get started with woodworking. Check them out here and then put a link to that video. And then over here on the right-hand side, you can click on this. And on your view, you're going to see an option here to pin comment, and then you can pin that comment there. And then by doing that, what you're doing is you're making two very clear avenues for people to get to additional content on yours that they can watch and enjoy. That particular thing is really powerful for several reasons. The most important one is that it makes it easy for people to watch more of your content. And when people are watching more of your content, you're increasing the likelihood of YouTube recommending videos that you've published in the past to them. And you're increasing the likelihood of YouTube recommending future videos to them as well. So because of that, everybody here, make it easy for people to find more of the content that they're enjoying from you. Because if they're engaged, they're engaged. They want more. Sometimes they'll come in, they'll just watch that video and leave. But some people are going to be like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm going to click on this and then I'm going to watch, a handful of videos. Those people are going to start getting recommended your videos more and more, and YouTube's literally going to chase them around the platform trying to get them to watch more of your videos. So the whole idea there is to just make it as easy as you possibly can for people to engage with what it is that you're doing. Yeah, love it. Love that you crossed 50,000. Love that you're putting monetization stuff in place. Absolutely love it. You've made my day. You made my day just now. So love it. So let's see here. So next up on the list here, we are going to go back into another one. Stanley Orchard in the house. What's going on? Little Crafty Nook. Nice to see you in here. Brad, Magic Flying Potato. Okay, so here's another one. So if you are just joining the stream, what we're doing is we're looking at YouTube channels. All you have to do, because you see super chats in there, but you do not have to super chat to get your channel pulled up. And if you are thinking of super chatting in order to get your channel pulled up, please don't, because with the amount of allotted time that we have left and all that stuff, I won't be able to get to them. If you do, I have just enough time to clear these and then also give some free ones as well. But basically, we're getting ready to do a free one. So how this works is all you have to do is I'm going to put a word up here on the chat. And we just make this super easy. Since we're just looking at a woodworking channel, the word that we're going to put on the chat here is wood. Now, when you put this word into the chat, you're giving me permission to pull your channel up and, just give you feedback on what it is that you're doing. Sometimes that feedback is great. Sometimes that feedback, you might be like, oh man, it sucks that you said my thumbnails suck, right? But by putting the word in here, you're agreeing to, let me have at it when it comes to your YouTube channel. But my goal here is to give you advice that can help you, grow your channel and help you get a better response from what it is that you're doing. So, so because of that, all you got to do is put wood into the chat and then we'll get you sorted. Also, just as a reminder, if you are somebody that does anything on your phone, if you have an iPhone and you do anything on your phone, you write down video ideas, you come up with title ideas, you kind of explore ideas for different videos you're going to make. Maybe when you're on YouTube, you're like screenshotting thumbnails and titles and stuff of other people. I built an app to help you with all of those things. It's called New Creator. You can find it at the very top of the chat right now, or you can just go to New Creator in the App Store, in the iPhone or the Apple App Store, and you can search for New Creator there. Yeah, go try it. So it is a paid app, but it has a 7-day unrestricted free trial. So you can go in there, you can try it. If you love it, then, then you can use it. If you don't, then in that case, feel free to, not use it. But if you're a content creator and you do literally anything on your phone, as a content creator, because, a lot of creators are busy, then go check out the app because it's going to help you be able to manage all that stuff on the go. Okay, so wood, here we go. Pick a winner. It's Whitney, bro. It's Whitney, bro. All right, so it's Whitney, bro. let's go to that. And just as a reminder, the Bearded IT Dad and K-Bears React, you guys are coming up here in just a little bit. So let's see here. So if you could, I'm going to be looking for it in the meantime, but it's Whitney, bro. If you could just say something in the chat, just so I can, just quickly jump to your channel here. World of KRS, what's going on? JJ, what's up? Hey, aren't you coming to Chiang Mai soon? I think you're coming next month. Hey, I don't know if you're going to the NAS Summit. I'm going to be there for that too. It's Whitney, bro. There we go. Okay, go to channel. Let's bring this up here. And I'm just going to take a really quick look here. And then we are going to switch to this tab and see what we got here. Okay, share this tab instead. Oh, did it share it? There we go. Okay, so it's Whitney, bro. So it's Whitney, bro, Monday, makeup, skincare, and rants. Okay, so a few things I just want to bring to your attention. And this isn't going to be a game changer, but it's something that I just want to bring to your attention because it is important at scale over time. So if I watch one of your videos and I click on your username, I'm going to come to this page. If I'm a viewer and I'm trying to decide on like, okay, do they have more content for me? Is this something that, I might want to be a part of? Is this a community that I would like to join? Then in that particular case, adding some quick and easy to understand clarity up here can definitely be advantageous. So basically up here in the top, in your channel banner, because you have it's Whitney Bro here, it's Whitney Bro here, I wouldn't worry about necessarily putting it up here. You can, but I wouldn't make it the focus of what's going on. Instead, I would focus more on makeup, skincare, and rants. That way, anybody that lands here, they can see at a glance without having to use any energy to try to figure it out that you do makeup, skincare, and rant content, okay? So the next thing I'm going to talk about is going to be something that can make a bigger difference. So what I'm getting ready to highlight, as long as I can find the content for it, is you say that you do makeup and skincare, which are directly related to each other in some way in terms of viewer interests. And then you have rants. So I'm going to try to figure out what you're going to be ranting about. Because right with the rant, you could be kind of breaking the consistency here. So first, just some best practice stuff I want to go over. The very first thing, just to kind of bring it to your attention here, is when it comes to hashtags, do not worry about putting them in your titles. It doesn't benefit you in any way. If you want to do it in shorts, you can. You still don't need to do it there. But if you want to, you can. But when it comes to long form content, don't even worry about that. Another thing that I would just a best practice, because it just helps with readability, all of that stuff, is I would also just capitalize that first word. Having an emoji in here is perfectly fine. But I would definitely, capitalize that first word. Okay. Same exact thing goes here. Get that hashtag out of there. Doesn't matter. So a couple things. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is the consistency in content, which is what I mentioned. So here, the beauty palette, that's on brand. Brands think this is okay. Not sure what this is about and if it has anything to do with makeup or if it's a rant. Here, this has something to do with makeup. That has something to do with makeup. Am I seriously going to buy that? Not sure what that has to do with. Okay. So since you're clearly making content, we'll come to this one. So since you're clearly making content that has something to do with like, beauty and skincare, I recommend that right now, while you're trying to bring attention to the channel, that here, when you say things like, am I seriously going to buy that? Because it looks like you're still talking about makeup, use makeup in the thumbnail, right? Like have, one of these palettes or something in there be the main focus. Right now, you're putting a lot of focus on you. Here's me. I'm the focus. I'm the focus. I'm the focus here. I'm the focus here. I'm the focus here. I'm the focus here. Okay. And we're just gonna focus on these very first ones. So let me just go ahead and isolate these. And we're turning off everything else. And we're going to focus on this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So this is all we see. Okay. So when we are looking at these, if we completely were to remove the titles from these, then right now, this at a glance doesn't say anything about makeup. This doesn't say anything about makeup. This does, but it's hard to read. You're kind of leaning on the text for it. This has a hint of makeup right here. This also has a hint of makeup, and then none of these have anything to do with makeup, but this one does have the base routine where you're showing maybe like that could be a before and after here, but there's not like a stark difference between the two. So the very first thing that I recommend is that for right now, okay, because you need bait, right? You're a new channel, you're just starting to get going right now. And since you're just starting to get going, you need bait. So what I mean by that is when it comes to YouTube, you right now, you need to use something that people are familiar with to grab their attention and let them know that your video is about something they care about so that they'll click on it and then come in and get to meet you. Okay. So because of that, what you want to do, hey, Transcend Furniture Gallery, super happy that you signed up for New Creator. When you are giving it a shot, if you have any feedback whatsoever, right up in the top corner of the screen on the homepage here, right up here, there's like a little square icon. Oh, here, let me make this bigger real quick and then we'll come back to it. But there's this little square icon right up here. If you click on that, then right here, there's this blue button where you can submit feedback. So if you have any feedback on anything that I can do to make this better, anything that I can do to make it more easy for you to use, anything like that, send me feedback, because I'm using that to kind of fine tune and kind of cater this to how everybody's using it. So if you have any feedback whatsoever, don't hesitate to drop it in there, because I take all of that feedback super seriously, because I'm making this the best app available for content creators. So back on Whitney though. So what you want to do right now is you want to leverage the makeup to bring attention to yourself. You can still put yourself in the thumbnails. That's fine. I'm not saying to remove yourself from the thumbnails, even though I would A/B test it. However, the thing that I would do is I would focus a lot more on the makeup itself. Instead of making the makeup a secondary focus, make the makeup the primary focus of the thumbnail, so that if this shows up on somebody's homepage, somebody that's into makeup or skincare routines will be like instantly, oh, that has something to do with makeup, right? That's the goal that you're going for. So you're gonna leverage the obvious makeup in your thumbnails to help people identify it's about makeup as the primary thing, so that they can be like, oh, let me see what this is about. Okay. So that's one thing that you should start doing right away. The second thing that you should start doing right away is you should start. Did I not turn that on? There we go. When it comes to your thumbnails, you know what? I don't need that one. I can actually just do this. When it comes to your thumbnails, if this is huge and I spend some energy on it, then in that case, I can make out what this says. However, at a small size, like suggested videos. So if we click into this and we look here in the suggested videos, you can see how small everything shows up here, right? So if you look at these videos, you see how easy it is to read this, post this to sell daily, my career, no one feels ready, cognition enhancer, this week at YouTube, Deep House Radio. You see how easy all this channel reviews. Hey, that's us. You see how easy it is to see that stuff? Well, what you want to do is you want to make it to where if your videos show up at a small size like that, that yours is just as easy to read. Where you have here, that's racist, goodbye, hidden gems. Those are all easy to read. But I would move away from this, the fancy fonts and lettering that you're using here, because what you want to do is you just want to make it to where, you're not going for pretty when it comes to the thumbnails. You're going for effective. Okay. So like one of the things that you never see in advertising is you don't see text like that in a lot of cases. Maybe after somebody's already familiar with the brand or they're already involved, then you'll start to see stuff like that. But when it comes to things like billboards, things like that, where they're trying to grab people's attention at a glance, you just don't see that sort of thing. And the reason for that is because they're focused on clarity, because they want it to grab people's attention so they can easily understand what's going on. So you want to do the same thing, because every one of these thumbnails is essentially a billboard that's advertising for you, right, for your content. So you want to make sure that you're taking that approach and making sure everything is just super easy to read. Another thing is when it comes to this whole thing's about your bag, right? If you layer your makeup like this, it won't move. Okay. So here you say, what's in my bag? And then you have down here, if you layer your makeup like this, it won't move. Like, I'm not sure even what's going on, because like when you hover over it, now it's showing like Like it looks like you're actually doing a tutorial and layering it on your face, which if so, then this thumbnail isn't accurately representing even what's happening in the makeup itself, right? So because of that, if it's about the bag, then mention that it's about the bag, focus on the bag, and then have you as a secondary. If it's about the makeup, then focus on the makeup, right? And then have you as the secondary. Same exact thing here. Here, the thing that is using Tati Beauty Palette, the thing that you're using to bring attention to yourself, it's tilted and it's hard to read. You know, I'm gonna have to do it this way, but it's tilted, right? You have it at an angle there and it's difficult to read because there isn't any focus on it. The focus is on you. So because of that, what you wanna do is when you're holding things up for thumbnails, I'll just use my phone, but no, you know, what's something I have text on? Okay. So let's say there's this microphone that I have, right? And it has this, and because the lighting is kind of like chill in here right now, this isn't going to be a great example. What's something I could use? We'll just use this because it has the text. Okay. Let's say that I was saying like, don't use this, right? In that case, I wouldn't do this and then have me as like the main thing. Instead, I would be trying to bring as much attention to this as I could. And if I needed to, I could still tilt it, but I would tilt it to try to get the focus on this. Adds to kind of follow my face, the camera. But basically the thing that I would be trying to focus on and I'd be trying to put the emphasis on is this so that people could more easily, you know, see this. If I was a new channel, nobody knew my face yet, then I would be trying to focus on this. There we go. If I tilt it that way, it's a little bit easier. But, you know, I'd be trying to do this. And then I would be like, you know, don't use this, or I'd be pointing to it or whatever the thing is. But I would put a big emphasis on this as the primary thing. And I would make sure it was easy to read if that brand is what you're trying to bring attention to, which it is because you put it in your title. So a couple things also when it comes to that, and then we're going to move on to one because I don't want to overwhelm you with stuff. But like one, focus on the makeup. Two, make sure that when you are holding products that it's just easy to see those products and what they are. Three, make sure that you're using text that's easy to read. Then when it comes to your titles, you know, shop my stash, same thing here, right? There's no clarity here. So I would definitely make sure that, you know, June deck of panning. Yeah, like all of this stuff, I would just work on clarity. Like how can I make this as clear as humanly possible so that when people are so when people see this on their homepage, they just instantly have an idea of what it is that I'm offering here. Because one of the worst things that you can do when it comes to YouTube is confuse people. There is strategy when it comes to creating curiosity gaps. And basically the idea there is that you bring people to an edge, right? So it's like, okay, hey, I am, you know, I'm expressing what's going on in this video, but I'm showing people something in the thumbnail to where it's like, oh, I got to see what happens here. I got to see this change that was made. I got to see this transformation, whatever the thing is. So for example, if you had like a weight loss video and it was like, you know, before and after, and then the title was something like, you know, this one thing will make you lose weight. Well, what you do there is you're not saying, you know, clearly the whole video might be about working out or, you know, eating right. But what you're doing there is you are creating a curiosity gap because even though you have the imagery that's clear that somebody lost weight there, you're not being explicitly clear about what it is, but you're saying the end result of what's happening. So you're opening it up to where people are going to be like, oh, I wonder what they did to lose that weight, right? So you're creating that curiosity gap there. So you can do that sort of thing. But right now, in your case, I would focus on clarity because that seems to be the thing that you need to work on the most. So clarity in terms of what's going to help people identify. And this is something we all have to just constantly be mindful of. What is going to help the people that I'm trying to reach, in your case, people that care about makeup and that care about skincare? What imagery can I use in my thumbnail along with myself? What imagery can I use in my thumbnail to help them identify that this has something to do with makeup and skincare? And then lean into that. Same thing with the title. And you say, I need to do the title and thumbnail first because I'm bad at last minute thumbnails and titles. That's normal. So don't beat yourself up over it. It's normal. Like this, that's just how it goes when it comes to YouTube. Like, you know, like like most people do what you're doing. The best approach that you can take with YouTube content is to first, when you have a video idea, ask yourself, okay, how am I going to package this up? And if you can't figure out a good way to package it up, then say, okay, let's come up with a different idea that I will be able to package up in an interesting or compelling or clear way. And then, you know, make that video instead. So yeah, working on that workflow is definitely important. And I'm glad that you're, you know, mindful of that now. So yeah, swapping that around in your workflow is definitely something to consider. Thanks for the masterclass, Nick. My pleasure. Thanks for the super chat. It says great stuff and very insightful across all content types.
Super chat.
Says I appreciate all those Saturdays you show up for us. Thanks, Phil. I appreciate that. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you. I'll leave that heart on there. Okay, and then here now we are going to go to the bearded IT dad. And we're going to see what's going on here. Okay. So let's see what you got going on. Empowering your IT career journey, cybersecurity, networking, cloud, the bearded IT dad, 63,000 subscribers. Love to see that you're growing. Okay. So unfiltered conversation with Network Chuck. Your people know what that means. What network engineers neglect that could destroy your career. So one thing I dig that you're doing right here is you're specifically talking to who it is that you're trying to reach, right? Like right here, you're like network engineers, right? Love that. So that's a good move just when it's appropriate, right? Because some channels in here, they're targeting very specific types of people. That's a great way to help ensure that the right people are clicking on your videos. Diaries from zero tech experience, QA engineer. Hi, got hired in cybersecurity without a job. That's cool. Okay, let's look for some outliers here. Okay, so we have 8.4 thousand. Try part 2 exam explained and why it's a game changer. There, okay. Is this the end of IT certifications as we know them? So that one scared people. So that's interesting. And it was a conversation also, which is good. Try hack me sound one cert. Okay, so it looks like you have these certifications that seem to do well when you do them. So I'm sure you identified that already and that you are doing those as a regular thing when possible, if possible. So that's good. Yeah, you got one here too. And that was also an outlier that like this one, and this one are all that, it looks like. So yeah, so it looks like people definitely respond to that. How to become a software engineer in 6 months. Yeah. So one thing that that you might want to also consider here that I don't see. Oh yeah, you are doing it here. So I was going to say is I was going to mention possibly doing some more how-to stuff as well, because you do have it in here, but it doesn't look like you have it in here a lot. And the reason I was saying that is because, you know, with how-to content, this is helping people solve problems. And I guess this is doing the same thing here, like what network engineers neglect. Is your network broken? But, you know, just having some content as part of your content strategy. So basically the general concept when it comes to strategies that you have Hero Hub and Help content. The Hub content is the stuff that people just get dependent on you for, that, you know, that they can expect from you on a regular basis. Help content is it's kind of like your staple content. And then Help content is content that literally adds value to people through helping them. And then the Hub content is like the bigger projects that you work on, like the big swings that you take that, like in your case, that might be something because you're talking about IT. If there's something that happens that impacts IT at scale, then in that particular case, that might end up being like, you know, a hero video that you would lean into, or something that's like massively trending, you know, something like that. But when it comes to, you know, your content strategy, I would definitely try to work in just some more how-to stuff. And the play with that is one, it's going to help you in terms of just adding the help content, but also when you're making those videos, I would hop up here and I would just look around for things that people are looking for when it comes to IT related stuff, right? So I'm not even sure how you would look for IT, but you're more familiar with it, so you might. But basically, whatever problems they're solving, so like how to build a network, right? Then in that particular case, a computer network, that might be more appropriate. But, you know, how to make a computer network, how to build a computer network, how to create a computer network at home, you know, those types of stuff. But just trying to make sure that it is in alignment with who it is you're trying to reach. So if you are trying to reach the people that are, IT career people, then, you know, things that, like in your case, thinking about, okay, people that are getting started with IT careers, with them. How can I make some help content for those people, and then just making it, kind of search based, but try to double dip it so it's also interesting if they see it on a homepage. But the play for that would be some search traffic for some of those. And in terms of your thumbnails, because the specific thing you mentioned is you say, I feel like my last few videos have missed the mark. It can help feel that maybe the thumbnails and titles are not bringing people in. What advice do you have for thumbnail and title research or feedback? So when it comes to just research in general, just looking to see what other IT people are doing that is effective is definitely, step number one. So like, for example, I'm just going to choose this one as like an A, and then we're going to see what happens here. So network engineer tips and tricks. We'll just go with this. And if we look and see what's going on here, so we've got like this, how to become a network engineer. Ooh, that's a good video in terms of how people responded to that one. Might be a big channel, I don't know, but that's like a solid thing. And it shows here, like, this is published 3 weeks ago and it's already ranking #1 here. So, this particular thing might be just something to go for anyway. But yeah, he just got why networking is the best, 15,000 views on that. And then it looks like you're showing up in here already, which is good. So yeah, it looks like what you guys are doing is really just leaning more on text than anything, with the exception of this particular one where he's showing very specific objects in here. So yeah, so based on these, it looks like, based on those, it looks like what you're doing is in alignment with what other people are doing there. But the only thing, because you said the last few videos seem to have missed the mark. I don't know. So you have the 10,000 views, and then 1.8, and then 2,000, and then 5.9. So it looks like the most recent one you're doing okay. And then you have the real story. So from zero tech experience to QA engineer, real story. So here, experimenting with storytelling, I think, which is good. But it could be the topics didn't land, or something like that. So like when you have videos that underperform, I had a mosquito bite me right here. When you have videos that underperform, it can come, a lot of times it comes down to just the topic itself, but it could be, how it's packaged up. So instead of, like that particular title, let me share that again really quick before I move on. But like that particular title right here, maybe experimenting with it to where you have from zero to tech engineer to Q&A and engineer real story, to have it, I'm not sure exactly what you say in this video, but if it would fit, changing it to, how I became a tech engineer, in 4 months or something like that, might be more inspiring to people when they see it on a homepage, because it's just super clear, right? So I would experiment with stuff like that to see if you can, help get this moving at all. Okay, so next up on our list, we're going to do, a couple of more here. The very next one we're going to do is from K-Bears React. So let me see if I can find that one up here. It's not, so we are going to just type it in. And then we're going to do another one where all you have to do, in case you're just joining this, is I'm going to pull a thing up on the screen here after I'm done with K-Bear React's channel. And then all you have to do is put a word into the chat. You don't have to super chat or anything like that. Just put a word into the chat. And then if you're, if basically the tool that I'm using will pull up, whoever puts that word into the chat. And then we will, pick a winner from there. Okay, K-Bear Reacts. So let's see what you got here. Okay, so the very first thing that I would do right now, because you guys are just getting going, is you're putting, you're kind of like the makeup channel, right? Where you're putting tons of emphasis on yourselves, but not so much on the actual thing. So the very first step that I would do is I would, try to put more emphasis on the thing. Because you can see, like in this example, these examples right here, you guys are actually green. And I understand that you're getting emotional there and you're showing the emotion, which is good. But I would definitely experiment with other things. Like, for example, like this one here, the Squid Game one, that one's more clearly focused, but due to your brightness, you guys are still pulling more attention there. So I would experiment with things. Like I would experiment with, because we have the A/B testing tool now. Let me just see if you're using it. Doesn't look like you are. You might be, but my tool, when I pull these up, if somebody's A/B testing, usually it will show me a small thumbnail first, and then I have to refresh it, and then it'll show me a big one. So it doesn't look like you're A/B testing these. I could be wrong. You might be, but that's how the tool works, and it could be incorrect. But when it comes to this, here's what I'd experiment with. I would experiment with just focusing on the imagery itself. So in this case, Squid Game, and then making sure that whatever characters, are related to Squid Game, like this guy and whoever else, that they are the most prominent thing in the thumbnail, and just completely remove yourselves from it. So have this version that you have as one of them, have one where you're not in it, and then that focuses on Squid Game, and then have another one to where maybe it's a different layout. So maybe it's like, both of you over on one side, and then the thing that the viewer might see first over here could be, more of the Squid Game imagery, and then maybe, kind of squeeze the logo over by them, a little bit, so it's not getting covered by timestamps and stuff. So I would experiment with that when it comes to the YouTube testing of the thumbnails, and it requires more work, but that's usually, how you break through is doing those type of experiments. So I would definitely do that. Lil Crafty Nook says that she loves the profile pic of the 2 koala bears right up here. Yeah, it's cute. Good branding going on there. Hopefully you guys have like some stuffed animal that you bring in from time to time or something that kind of goes along that. But a few things just to consider when it comes to all of this. Other things to play with here is like you have, a new player, Squid Game 3x3 reaction. So try focusing the very first thing on like Squid Game 3x3 reaction, first time watching. I wouldn't even put the 2025 on there, but basically Squid Game 3x3 reaction, and then have like a bar, and then like, they brought in a new player or, something like that, just to try to, 1, move this part closer to the front of the title, and then 2, use the second half as the, whatever emphasis that you're going to try to bring to this. The next thing is I wouldn't even bother with putting United States in here. It doesn't add like any value to what's going on here, because this reaction video can be viewed and enjoyed from anywhere as long as they speak the language that you're speaking in the video. So because of that, I wouldn't worry about putting the United States in there for a location that's not, doing anything for you. So don't worry about that. Yeah, other things as well, as I'm not sure, because it looks like you are asking for a subscribe here in the beginning. Let me double check this on the transcript. Welcome back to Karen Reacts. Okay, so we're gonna get into some stuff here that we usually don't talk about here in this live stream. It'll come up from time to, or on the channel review streams. Usually comes up, in like private conversations and stuff, but. Where you have this, welcome back to Kara Reacts. My name is Royce. I'm Ash, and today we're watching season 3, episode 3 of Squid Game. So start removing the welcome back to Kara's to Cars Reacts. You can start it if you want to with my name is Royce and Ash, but I still wouldn't even do that. Basically, when you say welcome back, you're assuming that everybody that's going to interact with this video has interacted with other videos on your channel, which they haven't. So when it comes to growing a channel, you want to try to make everyone feel included. You can get into some branding things that people want to be a part of, and that's for a whole other conversation. But just using the, welcome back to Kara's Reacts, like I wouldn't do that when you're starting your videos, because what you're doing is in those very important seconds that you have to grab somebody's attention when the video is first starting, and you can see this in your audience retention reports, you're wasting that with stuff that isn't relevant to a new viewer and things that a new viewer doesn't care about. What they care about in this particular case is seeing your reaction to Squid Game reaction. So when it comes to how you're starting your videos, I would stop doing this, because you have welcome back to Kara Reacts. My name is Royce. I'm Ash, and today we're watching season 3, episode 3 of Squid Game. Yep. Yes, sir. That sad last episode. It was a fun banger, though. Thought it was good. It was so fun. Okay. 2 really good episodes. Okay. So what you've done right here in the beginning of this video is you have made it to where you are, 1, excluding new people. 2, you're focusing on yourselves. 3, once you are starting to get into it, you're already telling people what you think about it without them even needing to watch the video. So I already know that it was a banger 11 seconds in. And because of that, I really don't need to watch the rest of this video. Right? So because of that, one thing that I would do is I would start making some adjustments. So here, as soon as the viewer comes in, we just watched the new season of Squid Game, and it wasn't what we expected, or, it was what we expected, whatever. But basically, we just watched, Squid Game. There's some, interesting parts in there, and we're going to be talking about, the whole thing as we are, watching. Well, I guess this is the first reaction, so first time watching. And today we're watching. Okay, yeah. Okay, so so today we're watching Squid Game. Haven't seen this episode yet. Really looking forward to this. We've seen a lot of hype about it on the internet, but the idea is basically get them hyped up, get them involved, right? Get them engaged, get them like interested in what it is that you're doing. So get them hyped up, and then get into the content itself. If you want to, after you get them all hyped up, then you can say, hey, as we're getting into this, I'm Royce, and then the other person's like, I'm Ash, and you're watching, K-Bears react. Let's get into it, or whatever your little segue is there, and then get into the actual content itself. Okay, but the idea is you don't want to waste that precious time when somebody first comes into the video on all of this stuff that you're currently doing right now. Instead, inform them. This is what we're doing. Hype them up. We've seen a lot of stuff, people talking about this on the internet, and we're excited about it. We were talking about it earlier. He's super excited to get into this because he really likes this particular character, whatever, kind of build out a story about, why you guys are excited about it or whatever. And then after you build the whole thing up, then a quick introduction of you guys, if you want to do that, and then get into the actual content itself would be the very first thing that I would experiment with in terms of, trying to get people involved in what it is you're doing. So I'm going to move on to the next channel, but basically just a quick recap, getting the Squid Game stuff as close to the front of the title as possible, putting any type of, additional compelling stuff here after the reaction, text, all of that, removing the date from it. You can have the date on there if you want to, but you can also, not have that and it'll be fine. Because you did say the season, I think, in the thumbnail possibly, but also just putting more emphasis on the, the actual stuff in here too. The imagery of the actual movies that you're talking about. And you can also see how these are kind of brighter. Not this one so much, but like these, the characters, I don't know, that one's a little bit dark too on that one. That one's a little bit brighter. Yeah, I would experiment like crazy on this. I really would, because people respond, right? And this is why I like looking at popular also, because this right here tells you that people clearly enjoyed this. So if people clearly enjoyed this, and this is going to sound like really weird, but like I would also do things to where it's like, okay, is our camera in the same position? Right? When we started this, what do we say? How do we do it? Right? Like I would, do those types of things, just to, look for any type of, patterns in terms of how people responded to the video. But yeah, I would definitely start, kind of reworking the beginning of your script and do it in alignment with your audience retention reports, right? When you go and you look in your audience retention reports, it's going to start showing you a ton about, just little changes that you need to make. All right. So next up on the list, here's how this goes. If you are just joining us, all you have to do is put this word that I'm going to put up on screen. All you have to do is put that word into the chat, and then we will get this tool that I'm using will randomly pick somebody out of the chat. And when it comes to this, by putting this word in the chat, you are agreeing to let me pull up your channel and give you some tips on it. Sometimes those tips are harsh, and most of the time they're not, but sometimes, they can be harsh, but you're giving me permission to basically just let you know what you need to work on. So movie, since we just came off a movie channel, is going to be our next word here. So just go ahead and put that word into the chat if you want me to pull up your channel. And as a quick reminder, if you haven't yet, I have a link to my app right up at the very top of the chat right now. The app is an iPhone app that I made for content creators. Helps you with all kinds of things, from coming up with video ideas to writing better titles. And what's cool is a lot of the title generators that are out there, you have to like show up with a title first. With mine, you just describe what the video is about. And then if you want, you can put in a keyword or your niche if you want to, but you just describe what the video is about, and then it gives you title ideas. And it gives you title ideas. It doesn't just say, here's a list of titles like everybody else does. Instead, it's like, hey, these titles here are for search. These titles here are for more of a broad appeal. These titles here are for like browse features in general. And then it also gives you a format option as well, to where if you are a creator who comes up with your titles and thumbnails before you make the video, then you can look at those formats as other ways that you might be able to frame the video as well. But I'm getting a lot of really good feedback on the title tool itself. So make sure that you check that out. But anyway, it's pinned at the top of the chat if you want to check it out. David Matthew, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing great. One Step, nice to see you in here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pick a winner. Oop, wrong one. Ops and Giggles. Sounds like a good time. Let's see what we got. So let me find Ops and Giggles here in the chat. Okay, I got you, Ops and Giggles. And here we go. You know, I think I've pulled this up before. Yeah, I think I have. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. Just the thumbnail looks familiar. Okay, so Ops and Giggles. So a little reminder there to subscribe, learn and grow with me, airsoft gameplay, and DIY. Okay, let's see what kind of DIY that you're doing. Is this gaming or is this like a real? Yeah, this looks like a video game, but I think this is like you like legit in a place. I'm going to look real quick. Okay, yeah, this is you in a place. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So I understand what's going on there. Okay, so that's good. That's good. So really quick, just because this does look like a game, like yeah, I would try to make this a little bit more clear in terms of it. You have the airsoft fight there, so I think you're okay. But it does look like a game. Like this is probably going to bring in some gamers into what it is that you are, what it is that you're doing here. Airsoft player, learning everything as I go. Okay, it's about the case. You're focused on the case. Perfect. On custom paint jobs. Yeah, I do remember looking at this. Okay. So yeah, I think on this one I mentioned last time, putting more emphasis on the weapon there. I think D and I might have pulled this one up on a Saturday stream. But yeah, putting more emphasis on you know, that, and it looks like I'm not sure if you've made that, but I would still, you know, try to bring more attention and brighten that whole thing up. With this one right here, it does look like a video game. This is fine, but I would A/B test using okay, you are A/B testing it. Great. Okay. Yeah, on your A/B test too, I would also experiment with this one. So sometimes these types of reactions do get a better response. Sometimes they hurt you. So because of that, I would, I would experiment with this right here just to see if you get a better or a different response, just seeing how the airsoft people respond to it. Also, I wouldn't put the at airsoft AGI in your title either. And keep in mind when it comes to the compelling element here, so you can see here, it changes yellow where it's going to get cut off on suggested videos, and it changes to red where it's going to get cut off on home pages. So because of that, just be aware that this is getting cut off on this particular part right here is getting cut off there. But one thing that you might also want to do is you have a custom loadout case, is you might want to also consider putting like an airsoft logo or something in your title or somewhere that lets people know this has something to do with airsoft. And I would do that since your whole channel is about you being an airsoft player. I would try to use like the airsoft logo, like reach out to them, you know, make sure that they're cool with it. But I would try to use the airsoft logo when possible to bring attention to these things as well, so that it's just crystal clear from the outside. Another thing that I would do in your case specifically, because of the imagery that you're showing in your thumbnails, it's very possible that some of this is going into age restricted mode. So what that means is sometimes when it comes to imagery of this kind, YouTube's system can't determine, like it might not clearly be able to see that this isn't, that it's an airsoft thing instead of it being like a real one. So because of that, one thing that you can do is you can go up into your channel here, and then from the drop down, you can turn on restricted mode. Do this from somebody else's account. If you have like a friend or family member or something, do it on their account and turn it into restricted mode, and then go look at your channel and just double check and make sure that none of this stuff is being like age restricted. Because if it is, then sometimes, that can kind of cost you when it comes there, because what that means is that this won't be being showed to anybody that's under 18 years old, which that might be fine. You might be like, okay, I don't care. But if there is a lot of younger people that's also into airsoft, then that might end up working against you. But I would just double check that just based on the imagery. But I think, in terms of how you're going to titles, things like that, I think like this particular one, I think all of this is good. I'm not sure exactly. Hold on. All right, guys, taking off the upper side, 2 lines between the upper center, those lines pulling the side. This is great. And I love that you just got right into it. You're like, all right, right now we're starting with taking the sides out and stuff. Like that's absolutely fantastic. But one thing that I would do is just a really quick, hey, if you, if you have an airsoft, CZ Pop P09, we're going to be dismantling or we're going to be disassembling it. I'm going to try to do it within, X amount of time, whatever the thing is. So let's go. First, the 2 lines that line up, blah, blah, and then get into the actual thing. It's just so you have some type of, little intro to it, but it's informative intro. It's not something that's wasting people's time. But I would try that on some videos and then just compare it against this one to see, how it did on the retention. Don't use how as a hashtag. This is why. So if you click on the hashtag, so this is another quick tip that doesn't typically come up, which is where these channel review streams come in handy because you get some of this type of, additional information. Build and Fix with Mooney. My pleasure, dude. Glad you're enjoying the content. Congratulations again on 50K. But when you're using hashtags in your videos, you want to check the hashtag results page because the whole reason of using a hashtag is to, be able to leverage this page right here. And if you find that content is showing up here that is not related to your content in any way, shape, or form, then that's not a good hashtag to use. So if you're using like the airsoft hashtag, then in that particular case, this can bring attention to your videos. If people are looking for airsoft stuff, but it looks like even a lot of this is even shorts, but people that are looking for, airsoft specific things there, then they might end up, being able to run across your video. But when it comes to this, it looks like it is dominated by YouTube shorts. So they'll probably get people kind of sucked into the shorts feed there. But just double check, for everybody here, just double check the hashtags that you're using. Also, just a quick, just kind of best practice thing. Also, make sure that that you remember to link to other videos as well. So yeah, this is my first teardown attempt. If you've done this before, let me know or missed how I can improve part 2. That's great having that in there, but you can also create another one that leads people into another video. So if we go at a higher level here, another thing that I would start thinking about is like how you can start building these out in series, right? So like for example, like here, this is a disassembly. So then maybe you have like a series that is just like maintenance and upkeep. And then like with that particular series, you continually make sure that you're putting out videos, to help people, maintain and upkeep their airsoft stuff. And then here, customization could be like another one. And then you have like customization of your airsoft stuff as a pillar. And then you have like, maintenance and all of that as one. And then maybe like having another one is like another pillar of content is like a getting started with, airsoft or something like that, to where you kind of teach people, what they should be doing when it comes to maybe playing with them in this capacity or, just working on them. So I would just think about that from, like in terms of how can I start putting together series when I'm putting out content so that I can make sure that I am, kind of giving this the, making everything bingeable, as I'm getting started here with the content. All right. So it's 12:30 a.m. local time. So we're going to do one more here. So basically how this works, if you are just joining the stream, is I'm going to put a word here and we're just going to go ahead and do airsoft just because we just looked at an airsoft channel. So if you just put that in there, then it's just going to start collecting these. And then the tool that I'm using here is just going to randomly select, somebody out of the chat. That mosquito that got me, I still see it kind of flying around here. So it's after me. It's coming to get me. I don't know if you can see that, but man, it got me good. See that right here? Man, got me good. So I have a lot of rice fields around me where I live because I'm in Asia. And right now it's rain season. And since it's rain season, then a lot of the rice fields are filled with water. And if you know about mosquitoes, you know how much they like hanging out in still water. So because of that, this time of year, there's usually more mosquitoes than normal. Okay, so here we go. We're at 43. So I think that's probably given everybody that's interested a chance to put their word in there. We got 44, and we're going to go ahead and just pick the winner. Let's go.
Let's get this thing spinning.
Monique. Here we go. Let's look for Monique. 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 Here we go. All right. Okay, so Monique does sharing the ins and outs of self-publishing. Let me switch to this tab. Okay, ins and outs of not shelf-publishing. Self-publishing. Okay, sharing the ins and outs. Hey, Little Crafty Nook, that's awesome. Definitely give me any feedback whatsoever. So in the app, there is a like a feedback form. So if you go to the very top of the app, there's two icons up in the top right-hand side. There's only one if you don't connect your YouTube channel to it. And if you select that one, then there's going to be a big button there for feedback. If you have any feedback whatsoever on any way that I can make it better, more easy to use, any features that you would like to see in there, just send them my way, because that's the first place I go when I'm working on it, trying to improve it. So let's see here. So sharing the ins and outs of self-publishing. Okay, self-publisher, that's great. Okay, so this is one of those situations, right, to where on yours, if we turn off the titles, because the thumbnails are going to be the things that's going to grab people's attention that are into self-publishing, okay? So right here, if we turn off your titles, then must-have tools doesn't let self-publishers know that this is for them, right? If we look at this one right here, let me turn on my stuff here. Yeah, so this one here doesn't tell self-publishers it's for them. Editor red flags, it kind of hints at it. Wait, what did they say? Doesn't talk to self-publishers. Do this before hiring a book editor does. Okay. Try this with your book launch from that does. 1,000 for editing, possibly, but it's not crystal clear on editing. This could be editing videos, editing audio, editing books, editing blogs, websites, code, anything like that. Secret to book sales, 100%. That speaks to book editors. No sales, 5 reasons your book's not selling. Definitely speaks to booksellers, right? So a few things that I would think of here is when it comes to your thumbnails themselves, is I would try to work through anytime you're making a thumbnail, think about this. If the person that is being recommended this on YouTube, the thing that is the biggest on homepages, suggested videos, YouTube search on every device is the thumbnail. Because of that, if this is the thing that YouTube is leveraging to grab attention to videos, what can I add to this thumbnail that's going to make it crystal clear that this has something to do with self-publishing? Must have self-publishing tools. Boom. Crystal clear. For this one, not sure, because I'm not sure what that video is about until I turn the titles back on. Do this before hiring a book editor. Again, I think that one's good. $1,000 for editing, for book editing. Right? That kind of stuff is what you want to think about. And if possible, you can also use imagery there as well. But if we put it back, how to handle scary book feedback. Yep, that's fine. Edit your book like a pro. If you're trying to connect with self-publishers, then how to edit your self-published book like a pro, right? Or your, how to edit your self-publishing how to edit a book you're self-publishing like a pro, right? That again, that's the audience identifier. So you're making it clear that it's for them. What to know before hiring a book editor for your self-published book. That makes it a little bit long. So you're going to have to, workshop that a little bit. But the idea is that you need to make all of this packaging crystal clear. And the way that you can do that is, I'm not sure if you're using the tool Tube Spanner that you're hearing me talk about a lot, but there's a tool in there as part of their browser extension to where you can click on it and you can upload a thumbnail, or you can do it with one of your videos that are already there and you can select it. And then you can have it to where you can turn it on. And then when you hit go, it blanks out everything on the screen and it embeds your thumbnail in random places. And then when it pops open, your thumbnail's in there somewhere. So then you can, one, take a look to see how, how it stands out against everything else, how quickly it grabs your eyes. But you can also quickly go self-publishing. Okay, does it speak to self-publishing, right? And then you can also use it that way as well to see if it just really stands out that way. But yeah, in your case, I would definitely work on that. I think that is a major hindrance for you right now. We're gonna do this. Okay, so right here, it looks like you might be A/B testing these. Hold on. Author's Toolkit, way better for what it is that you're doing. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't pick that one as the A, but I'm happy that you're testing these though. Yeah, that's good. For who you're trying to reach, that one is going to be the best one. For who you're trying to reach, right? Let's see here. So I'm gonna pick this one, and then we're just gonna clear it. So let's see here. Self-editing tips every writer should know. So we're gonna pick this one as an A, and then I'm going to go up here to my buddy Dale Roberts, and we're just gonna see what he's doing. And then we're going to see if he has any videos on tools. Here's something I want you to show, right? In comparison. So Dale's got 100,000 subscribers on his channel. And here you can see what he's doing, right? If we compare these, I'm just looking to see really quick if he has any like tool videos. So we can do a direct comparison, but we don't. So, okay. So right here, if we just pull up one of his thumbnails and we can compare it to you, it looks like he's A/B testing too. Okay. So right here, he's testing these. So this particular thumbnail doesn't say anything for the writers, but this one does, Pro Writing Aid. And on the one that he showed, or that we showed previously, maybe we can do this with yours too. No, but the one that we showed previously does clearly say, can you clean up your book, right? So in his case too, I think the one where he has the book messaging in there is probably going to do better. But the idea of comparison there is I'm just wanting to bring to your attention with him, sell more books, right? Don't waste your time, but he's got all these images in here with the books, right? Select the right category or get terminated. He should have mentioned something in here with books, or maybe put the Amazon thing in here. That probably would have helped him do better on that one. But the idea, if we go back to your channel, is that you want to try to put more emphasis on those types of things. And it also looks like you've committed to this branding, but right now, I wouldn't commit to that. I would be experimenting wildly on your channel. And the reason I would be experimenting wildly with it on the channel is because I would want to make sure that this branding isn't working against me. So because of that, while getting more book and self-publishing language into what it is that you're doing in imagery, I would also just wildly experiment with different thumbnail styles. I'm all about branding. Love the fact that you are doing like, hey, I'm doing purple, wearing the yellow shirt all the time and all that, which is a little off-brand from what you're doing up here. So I would definitely yellow that out if you decide to go with that. But I would do a lot more experimentation there on those to try to, just give yourself the best possible chance, because sometimes, especially when they start channels, they will, or YouTubers will commit to something, and the thing they commit to ends up being the thing that ends up working against them. Right. So because of that, I would definitely start, experimenting with how you're doing your packaging on everything. And you say here, got it. Still working on updating title colors on thumbnails, and A/B test colors also. Great. Yeah, and just kind of work on just the overall thing with the thumbnails. Like, just experiment like crazy right now, because you got like 2.3 thousand subscribers. So people are responding to some of the stuff that you're doing. But what I would recommend that you do is that you just start going kind of wild with your thumbnails, and just start thinking like, okay, I'm trying to reach self-publishers. So because of that, just every thumbnail, is it clear to a self-publisher if this has something to do with self-publishers and or self-publishing? I would work on that. Her Hale Review says, do you have any plans for the creator keyboard in Chrome? As a matter of fact, I do. So I actually have it. It's actually activated on the other computer. I don't think it's activated on this one. It is. So I can actually show you here real quick. So actually, I don't even know if this shows up in a screen recording. I don't think it does. So I'll just have to show the whole window. Yeah. So basically with this version, I need to remove this, and I'll scroll up to find that question. And it might be too far up. I'm not sure. Yeah. So for this, if I go to share screen, we are going to just do the whole window, and then I'll be able to show it to you here. Should be anyway. So yeah, so basically how it works here is you tap the thing, bam, and then the side panel opens, and then you can inject all of your stuff here. So, and then it has the same thing where you've got folders in here as well, to where you can click into, what can I click into safely here? Let's go into app links, to where you can quickly get into each folder there as well. It also includes all the social media links. It includes the Thanks-O-Matic, has, settings in here to where you can import and export data. So this is a thing that I was working on actually recently, to where I have it to where you can export and import from your app into this, and then you'll be able to use it in both ways. But one of the things that's cool, and let me take this down real quick, and I'll show you this too, for this, and this is something that I'm still working on, but that particular thing that I'm showing you is going to be free for everybody, and it's where you can just load up a bunch of canned stuff for comments and things like that, and then you can just deploy them when you need them. But basically, let's go into a comment of a video here. We're just going to use this one. So we'll just pick a random comment here. So basically, how this works also is, like, let's say I'm in here and then I hit to reply to here. You can see that there's buttons here too. So then what I can do here is, let's say this side panel wasn't open. And again, I'm still working on it, so I'm not sure if it's going to be buggy or not. But basically, I can click on add, and then it opens it here. And then as long as my cursor is in here, then I can click on it, bam, and then it just puts it in there, and then it adds that whole response without me having to type everything all the time, which is great. And then also, if you are in here and you're doing this manually, right, whatever the thing is, then you can click the save button, and then you'll be able to, I'll just hit save so you can see it, but then you can put a title for it. You can change the color, and then you can add whatever folder it is that you want to it or whatever, and then you can do it that way. So it's super cool in terms of being able to, just have it go both ways and all that. I'm going to take this little tab off of here because I also have this tab for, opening and closing it. But it kind of gets in the way. So because of that, I'm going to end up taking that little tab off. But yeah, still working on it, but that is definitely on the way. So thanks for asking and being interested in that. All right. So on that note, we've been going for like 2 hours and 20 minutes here. It's like almost 1 a.m. where I'm at. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out here. Hope you got some value from the stream. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. I'm probably going to be doing one of these next Wednesday as well. I usually do these like if I have just some time at the end of the night. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because I usually only schedule these like 30 minutes to an hour in advance. And then we come in and do it. So it's usually somewhere between like 10 a.m. and noon when we get started, 10 a.m. Eastern and noon Eastern when we get started. So that's usually around the time, and it's on Wednesday usually when it happens. So if you enjoyed this and you want more, then make sure you just check in around that time to see if we are streaming or just have the notifications on. And also, just as a quick reminder, if you are new to all of this, as you can tell by all this stuff that we talked about here, if you've been here for the whole stream, talked about a ton of different things, a bunch of different genres of content. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes behind, having a successful YouTube channel. So if you are struggling right now, if things aren't going the way that you hoped right now, just keep in mind that, it's part of the process. YouTube does come with a learning curve like everything else. So because of that, hang in there. It's tough, it's challenging. And, you just have to, keep going, and you have to keep working on the skills related to all of it. The reason that I can look at a channel and rattle off all of those things and, give all the advice that I give, because I've been doing this for a really long time, right? On my channel, I've worked with other creators as well, helping them. And the whole thing that has done is it's given me tons of experience. Plus, I'm constantly studying YouTube and looking at what's working and what's not and all those things, because I have the time, because, it's what I do. So, because of that, that's what allows me to do that. But if you can't do that, like, don't worry about it. Just start looking at your channel and saying, okay, instead of having to try to do all the things that he's talking about, with all these different channels during the stream, what's something that I can just focus on right now and try to get better at that thing? So for you, it might be thumbnails, it might be the titles, it might be the intro of your videos, it might be, just kind of refreshing everything on your channel and just kind of thinking through, maybe like if you're thinking about videos one at a time, maybe the thing that you need to change right now or work on is start thinking of, okay, since I'm building my channel as a resource for a certain type of viewer, maybe I can start working or thinking about videos in a series about if somebody watches this video, then they're going to be likely to watch this one and then this one, or maybe, themes within a series to where, like we were talking about on one of the channels, to where having like the beginner guides, might be something they can experiment with more. Those types of things, right? And all of that is just stuff that you learn along the way. So hang in there. You got this. Have a great rest of your week. Dee and I are going to be streaming on Saturday. I think I have a video that might be getting published on Friday. If not, then it'll be at the beginning of next week. But I do have a short that's going to be going live either today or tomorrow. So make sure you check that out. And again, make sure that you check out my app if you haven't yet. It's an app that I made for you if you have an iPhone, and I have Android versions and a desktop version of this coming in the future. But it's a iPhone app that helps you in a bunch of different ways with your YouTube channel. You can scan this really quick if you want, or take a screenshot, or just go look for New Creator on the App Store, and you will find it in there. And have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you next time.
Hit the sub button, hit the like button. If you're having fun, comment, type something. If you're laying back, leaning in, engage.